This is a race so unique that the only way you can find a comparison to it is to dig deep into the history books. Of the 13-round AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series, none of the other 12 events are quite like Snowshoe, a race that is so beautiful on top, but so nasty deep down inside. With its start on the hard paved road and its mud fleas lining a boulder-strewn obstacle course filled with mud, tree roots, hill climb, and more, Snowshoe takes on the role of an adventure race, perhaps America's toughest race. Simply finishing a lap, let alone the entire event, is an accomplishment. As far as trying to go fast and win, well, that's an accomplishment only reserved for the legends, and they have the emotional and physical scars to show for it. Yes, the only Grand National cross-country race you can truly compare Snowshoe to is the original America's toughest race, the Blackwater 100, the one that started this series and started in the streets of Davis, West Virginia, and then through the bogs of the Mountain State. As it was then, it will be today. The Snowshoe GNCC is next, live on RacerTV.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Welcome to round number 9 of the AMA GNCC Racing Series. We're here in beautiful Snowshoe, West Virginia, in the village. Landon Wolfman, how's it feel to be in Snowshoe?
Oh, it feels good to be back as always, man. I just love this place, as everybody does. I mean, the place is gorgeous, the village is gorgeous. The weather is on and off as it is every year, but you know, we can always expect good racing here.
That's right, and going back to last round, the XC1 on the ATV side of things.
Yeah, what a race we had at the beginning. Walker Fowler jumped out to an early lead. I believe he got the whole shot. Chris Borch hot on his heels. Man, did they have a battle going on. I mean, you could have thrown a blanket over both of them for about half the race. Walker did end up checking out a little bit, went on to win the race. Chris Borch in second. Bryson Neal came from the back of the pack, started the race, and worked hard all day long and ended up on the podium, number 3 spot.
It was an impressive one to say the least.
It sure
and then
was.
the XC2 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, XC2 was good. We got some consistency out of Mr. Hunter Hart. Hunter's been on a roll here. Got another win at Tomahawk at the last race, and Drew Landers followed him in the number 2 spot, along with Austin Abney rounding out the podium.
Boy, the stage is set. We're here in beautiful Snowshoe, West Virginia. I am excited. I know you guys at home are stoked. Let's get this thing going. But first, a track description with Jared Bolton.
All right, thanks guys, and welcome back to Snowshoe Mountain for the toughest, most unique, rockiest, muddiest race we've got all year. This is a fantastic event, and what better place to have a motorcycle and ATV race. It's been raining a little bit since we've been here. That's going to add an extremely tough technical challenge of this course that's already rocky and technical enough. What's that mean? Well, it's going to give the guys that strive in those tough conditions a little bit of an advantage. And you know what? It's going to be really fun to watch, too. So you guys check it out. Going to be in for a real treat for some great racing here this weekend.
Thanks, Jared. Now we know what to expect from today's GNCC. Let's get down to it. We'll take it to Rodney Tomlin down on the start line.
are the number 1, once again, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line today, second in points aboard the number 2. He hails from Bidwell, Ohio on a B. Neal Motorsports CST Tires Hauser Racing Yamaha, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line third today, riding aboard the number 3 from Casca, Pennsylvania on a JMR or ATVRiders.com Maxxis backed Honda, the Sneaky Snake, Jed McClure. Rain starting to fall at rider number 4. Way better. Ranked rider in our championship today from Sunbury, Pennsylvania on a Maxxis Fly Racing Yo Cycle Barn Suzuki, Chris Forage. Up next aboard the 733 from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania on an Ampro Yamaha backed by Gear, Alloy, and GBC Tires, the Coltrane, Cole Richardson. On road number 2 in 6th place, aboard the number 521, hailing from Waverly, West Virginia on a CST Tires Moose Racing Parts Unlimited Induction Solutions Honda. They named it after him. It's called McGill's Mountain, according to him, Adam McGill. Rolling to the line next, 7th in points, aboard the number 9. He is a rookie from Windsor, New York on an MR Unlimited GBC Tires RJR Honda, Devin Behan. 8th in points, aboard the number 8 from Richford, New York on a Spider Graphics GBC Moose Racing backed Honda, Marty Christopherson. Up next, he is ranked 9th in points aboard the 741 from Myersville, Maryland on a GBC Motorsports RJR Solo Pilot Suzuki, Wesley Rolfe. And aboard the number 7 from Ithaca, New York on an Ithaca Recreation Fly Racing Maxxis Suzuki. He is an XC2 points leader and 10th overall, Hunter Hall. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your top 10 as we get who is right now readying us for this start. And Ricky has not been given the official word just yet. We are still waiting on the official word from timing and scoring. We're waiting on the official word from the track crew for this morning's 10 o'clock race that we have an all systems go scenario here in Snowshoe, so we wait. Howard's Hole has already taken its toll on a number of the GNCC faithful from that 10 o'clock race this morning. We'll try to have some highlights maybe from for our TV show here on RacerTV in a little bit, but folks, I'll tell you, you're probably going to get a good dose of what those riders were faced with this morning when you watch this afternoon's race, because it is going to be pure havoc being played out there on those trails as this rain starts to fall heavier and heavier here at Snowshoe. You can feel the tension building in the air as these machines begin to warm up. And all eyes focus on Ricky Towery now as he is about to begin our starting sequence here, as he faces our front row of 5 riders, letting these riders know that we are less than 30 seconds away now, away from going GNCC racing. This is a live engine start, so they will not shut them down at this particular point. The only thing that happens, people get more and more and more excited as they anticipate the next call that comes. 10 seconds for row number 1 here at the AMSOIL Snowshoe GNCC. And we're off row number 1. Row number 2 getting set to roll now. Hunter Hart, Marty Christopher, Devin and Adam McGill, Wesley Wolf. Row 3, XC1 Pro, Josh Merritt, Greg Covert, Cody Collier, and Austin Abney from the XC2. Row 4, Tucker Wyatt, Drew Landers, Brent Kowalewski, and John Glotta. That was our top 20 overall. The front 4 rows are top 20 overall. Now we go to the rest of our XC1. Kevin Yoho on row number 5. Up next is row number 6, Brent Stodybot. Up next, more of our XC2 Pro-Am, Tanner Walker and Andrew Connors. Row number 8, Charles Dunn, Gabe Nod, JD Browning, Cameron Bruce, XC2 Pro-Am. Row number 9, Steve Covert, Zachary Dean, Brody Livingood, Jay Wagner, and Devin Masters. Row number 10, Kenny Schick, Nick Royalty, and Derek Kropp, more XC2 Pro-Am riders. College A, row 1, this is row 11, Matthew Blankenship, Seth Wilson, Ronnie Rush, and Eli Kiger. Row 12, College A, Hayden Nicholson, Donald Whalen, and Mikey Nichols. Row 13, Logan Weiser, Trevor Taylor, Joseph Yerkson, and Davis Brinson, College A. Row 14, College A, Andrew Bamboski, Asen Stevens, and Gavin Jenkins. Row 15, College A, Joey Lambright, Josh Britton, Craig Chrisman, Corey Silverthorne, Corey Vandeliner. Row 16, our Junior A 22 plus class, the first row of them, Levi Cohen, Zach Wright, Jay Millwood, and Josh Haney, our top 5 in points. Row 17, Junior A 22 plus class, Ryan Thompson, Charles Dawson, Brady Myers, and Mike Isaacson. Problems down there. Trying to get that machine fired up. Ricky says, okay, let's go. Row 18, Junior A, James Mauger, Jordan Poplowski, Braden Nichols, Ben Danner, and Dylan Taylor. Row 19, Junior A 28, 2 plus, Eric Straub, Nick Davidson, Clinton Graff, Brian Basco, Chris Ballou, and Luke Shepard. Row 21, Bet A 30 plus, Jeff Pickens, Big Papa P, AJ Kuntz, the Marble Man, Tom Muscala, and Brad Whitehead. Row 22, Bet A 30 plus, James Green and Jeremy Gouchard, along with Corey Blinkowitz and Corbin Knox. Row 23, Bet A Turner, all by himself. Row 24, Senior A 40 plus class, Michael Hayes, Justin Kerr, John Salsa, and Dale Batson. Row 25, Senior A 40 plus class, Mark Batson. College B, row 26. This is the first row of College B. Jeremy Ladon, Chase Allison, and Colton Kendall. Row number 27, Jaron Dawkins, Alan Daniels, Jeremy Stewart, Levi Myers, College B. Colby Clark, Matthew Golden, Red Cox, and Cale Howard, College B. Row 29, Colton Dobbs, Ronald Howard, Devin Thomas, Austin Straub, and Jonathan Cryenbull, College B. Junior B rider, Kyle Gray, 329, row 30. Junior B, row 2. This is row 31 of the grand scheme of things. Tyler Palmer, Justin Miller, Nick Miller, and Little Miss Emily Wise, our whole shot queen. Up next, row number 32, Junior B, Michael Jarasco, Blaze Taylor, Nathan Burkholder, Andrew Phillips, and Tor Johnson. Row 33, Junior B, Brent Baker, Nathaniel Tickle, George Corbin, and Curtis Tarman, and Josh Moore. Row 34, Lodge Blazneski, Wesley Smith, Dave Napo, and Chris Conklin. Row 35, Adam Sadlon, CJ Mullet, Ben Ellis, and Dustin Dickerson. Vet B. This is row 36. Aaron Hendershot, Alan Zaldicki. Also Jared Little, David Rudder, and Sean Stoops. That's Zawadotsky, not Zaldicki. But anyway, row 37, Senior B now. First row of them, Lyle Morrison, Peter Dansby, Greg Phillips, Ed King, and Jeff Harvey. Row 38, Senior B, Tim Davis, Joe Gower, and Brian Locke. Row 39, our Junior B 22 plus class, Derek Ray, Cameron Harbin, Cody Holcomb, and Cody Stewart. Row 40, Charlie Rogers, Alan Blabos, Travis Matthews, Dustin Ulrich, and Denny Rowe, Junior B. And David Kite, Braxton Augusto Ray, Jared Lamby, Brian Shaw, all off and rolling, and that, my friends, is your start here from Snowshoe as the streets now become property of the state of West Virginia and no longer the starting line for GNCC. We're going to check in with our riders coming up here in just a couple of moments, so be sure and stick around if you're here on RacerTV.com, because we got a whole host of great things that are on the horizon for us, my friends. Can Chris Porch get his second win? Can he get back into the swing of things? Will Walker Fowler be the man today? Or is this really Adam McGill's mountain? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
So, it's GNCC Racing. This is Chris Borich. You're watching GNCC Racing. This is Chris Borich. You're watching GNCC Live on RacerTV.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young, and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends. We become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
The AMSOIL GNCC series on RacerTV is brought to you in part by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes, joined alongside by the Snowshoe Champ 2018 in the 4x4 Pro. That's Landon Wolf. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, good. So getting a look at what is beautiful Snowshoe, West Virginia, and that's Mark Notman. That's not West Virginia, but that was Mark Notman. Taking a look at with Walker Fowler and company pits there, working on the bike, coming into today, getting all prepped. Oh, that is the Caitlin Osborne machine right there. And there's Caitlin Osborne, and I'm just going to sit here and talk about who we're seeing on screen, I guess.
Right.
There are the beautiful mountains of Snowshoe, West Virginia. How about that? And already we're seeing, well, I guess I shouldn't say already. That's probably, we're seeing some bikes get towed, probably from the morning race. And if you're wondering why in the world they're being towed, that right there is why. Landon, I didn't see it firsthand. You got a great view of this morning.
Yeah, I sure did. This is the famous Howard's Hole that Snowshoe always has here. As you can see, it brings quite the crowd, and it is gnarly to get through there. There's, I guess that's about half, or towards the end of we have two different laps here at this track. We have an east side and a west side. That is towards the end of their first lap that they're doing out there right now. So they're going to be dropping down off the hill there and heading into this Howard's Hole, and man, is it tough getting through there, and it is chaos.
Would you say it's impossible to get through without the help of these guys, these mud fleas?
Yeah, most
Almost,
likely.
yeah.
I mean, there are a few guys that probably slip through here and there, but man, these mud fleas really help out. And as you can see, they're not afraid to get muddy.
No.
So if you do get stuck, I think they actually like it because they get the chance to get in and pull you out. So
I think I've always heard it's one of those things when it comes to Snowshoe and the mud fleas out there at Howard's Hole, you always kind of wonder to yourself, do I really want to take the line they're suggesting? Are they really trying to help me out, or are they trying to get me stuck? So here is a view of today's track map. It's a different style race really compared to what we're used to. And Landon, you are much more affluent, I guess, if you will, about how this works.
Yeah, so we start here on the road here at Snowshoe, which you guys just saw on RacerTV. But like I was just saying, there's an east side and there's a west side to this track. So they're running the east side first. They go to that 1E, to the over-under bridge, and they go out on the east side. It's actually, both sides are pretty similar. There's not too much of a difference, but both sides are just as gnarly as the other. But so the east side actually is in a figure 8 shape, and that's why we have that over-under bridge. And then right before the end of the east side is Howard's Hole, which you see there on the track map, just past the 11-mile marker, the east side. Come up to the finish line and head over to the west side. West side's got some fast roads on it, but it also has some really gnarly stuff as well. And then about the same distance, I believe. Maybe the west side's a little bit shorter, maybe a mile or two shorter. And then the two finish lines are in the same area. So as of right now, we're not sure which side of the track will be the last lap.
Yeah.
So that kind of plays a whole role into the whole, how this race may play out. But they start on the east side, they head to the west side, back to the east side, back to the west. So just depending on how long it takes them to get through each lap. And one thing to take note is the first lap for these guys will probably be pretty fast, but once they get around to the second lap, or in their case the third lap, because technically they won't be on into lappers until their third lap, that could change the whole pace of the race for sure. So, and it's places like this right here that make the race have such a change of pace. I mean, you get in here on the first lap, everybody has a clear track, and on the second lap, There could be people in the lines, people in the good lines, so you have to take the bad lines, and it really mixes things up. I mean, this place, I know we always say in these past live coverages, the race isn't over till it's over, but this place is probably the best race for that saying, because, like I said, this is right before the finish line, and this is actually where I made a pass for the lead there on the last lap today. So you could get in there and not only just yourself, but get in behind a lapper, and it can make or break your race.
It is gnarly, to say the least. And now that we've gotten a look at that track map, and you did notice the little black dots that popped up there, those are also our camera shots, just to let you know. Well, we've got the perspective of the track today. We had a chance to catch up with some of our pro riders about their expectation coming in here to the Snowshoe GNCC.
Definitely preparing for some mud and water out there. Typical snowshoe weather. It's going to be bad. It's going to be gnarly. It's going to be rocky, and it's going to be muddy. But we always have pretty good luck here. So our mud and water prep is usually really good, and I'm just hoping for a good race today.
Really, I haven't had a good snowshoe race since my college A days. I know last year, I think the hydroplaned off a cliff, and the year before that had a rock take out the whole rotor, rip the whole rear rotor off. So hopefully we're just looking forward to a good day, just finish.
Talk a little bit about this track and what you expect out of it today.
I was deciding on running the little tires, and my girlfriend and I, we walked down to Howard's Hole, and it looks like no one's taken the skid loader there in like 3 years. So that decided for me to put the big tires on, and we walk in, and I don't know, just hope for the best. I know it's going to be gnarly out there. The rocks are huge, the mud's deep, so just hope for the best.
Course itself, it looks like it's laid out pretty decent. Looks like it got some good flow. Obviously you got the rocks, the mud holes to the hill climbs and stuff, so it should be all around pretty good day. No, top guys, we rarely get stuck, but it's the problem, like you said, when we do get to the amateurs and they can't get through it like we can. So then it turns into trying to get out of the main line, trying to find a way around, and then that's where you really kind of bury yourself, because main line here is obviously the good line, and then you try to go around it. You got trees down, stumps, bigger rocks that you got to maneuver over, and that's where it comes in. That's where it plays a toll.
Howard's Hole is gnarly. I love it when they put special stuff in like that into the races. It makes a more technical aspect come into it. It's unlike we see at other rounds. It's more of like slow down, stop, think, choose a good line. The fans there are so gnarly. There's thousands of people there just screaming, yelling, pointing your lines. So it's definitely one of the coolest things I think GNCC brings into, and snowshoes, unlike so many other courses, and it just brings a wild card factor into it. And overall, if you do good, top 3, it's a heck of a day, and let's go have fun. So.
Let's go have fun. I think that probably sums it up completely. One of the big things I heard from a lot of riders this morning in the youth and even in the AM race was, what do we think of the track today, snowshoe, blah, blah, blah. They'd say, I was nervous. It made me stressed out. Stressed out. Everybody kept saying stressed out. I thought it was funny that the youth riders, like, you guys don't even know stress yet. Wait till you're a grown-up. But I think that's part of it. With the way we start these races, they're, 5 riders at a time or 4 riders at a time each row. So there's this time adjustment. So just because you check in the number 1 or the number 2 spot, there may be a guy a row back from you who's making a faster lap time who's going to sneak up in front of you, and you really don't know unless your pit crew's keeping you informed.
Yeah, so it looks like we're just now getting in some updates. Sorry, I missed what you were saying there. I was listening to the updates that we got. But it sounds like we just got some updates in. It sounds like Chris Borch is in the number 1 spot. Jared McClure, the number 2 spot. Number 3 spot was Bryson Neal, and number 4 spot was Walker Fowler.
So there you go. So there's one of the things. Doesn't have anything to do with time adjustment at this point. Not yet anyways, because that's how they stand physically on the track. We'll see if Howard's Hole doesn't shake some things up for these guys. But what I was saying, Landon, is with the These people are crazy. I love mud fleas. I think they ordered in this weather for this weekend.
Yeah, they sure did.
They certainly got their wish fulfilled. But what I was saying with the different start times, with the rows, how we start them at Snowshoe, it's kind of, I mean, what does that do to your mind? You're thinking, okay, I think I'm in first place, but I don't really know if it's close.
Yeah, you never really know, and it's only a 5-second difference, so you get in a field section, you are able to look back and see if anybody's close, but it makes it nervous, and, you know, like this morning I was on the first row, I had a guy catch me from the second row. Well, not only do I just need to stay in front of him, or not only do these riders need to stay in front of that second row guy, but they have to gap them by 5 seconds to actually beat them. But like you were saying about the whole stressed out thing, I think that directly relates to what Bryson Neal was saying about this place is like a little bit of a wild card. You know, most tracks we go to, they're fast. I mean, they're great tracks, but they're fast, they're flowy, everything rolls together. This place, you get to sections like this, and you have to stop, you have to think a little bit, you have to assess the situation, and make sure you're making the right choice.
Well, we know Chris Boric, I think you said, is out in front. How about that? He has been looking for that elusive win that it's been a drought for him. What an incredible sight that would be. And coming out of 2 rounds ago, or a round ago, rather, at the Tomahawk, it was all him and Walker Fowler early. That had to be, I mean, if I'm Chris Boric, that's got to be a confidence boost, hanging with him as long as he did in that race. And maybe he's got the mindset, all right, I'm getting out in front of him today, and I'm going to ride like I rode the first half of that race a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Chris is very amped up about this race. I know he's been training hard, and I think he did go into the woods first here, but he's held on to it and got those big tires on there on his bike out there mud bogging around. And I'm sure this first lap, especially for the pro riders, they're all smart guys. They're all just picking their way through and making sure they're not blowing their race early on today. But one thing to note, I believe Jared McClure was in the number 2 spot, but he off the start here, he was in the back. So he came from way back, and now he's in the number 2 spot behind Chris.
So there we go. My goodness, I just can't stop looking at the crowd. They're all fairly clean right now. That's probably not going to last long. Setting off fireworks. There you go. Welcome to Snowshoe, my friends. Good Lord. This is fun stuff. That is just iconic GNCC right there, man. When you think of GNCC racing, you think of Snowshoe, you think of the Blackwater 100. This is about what comes to mind right here. So, all right, got some folks moving out of the way. He said, move, clear out, guys. We got ATVs. They're coming right here.
Yeah, we're expecting them in. Obviously, everybody's getting cleared out of the way. They're coming. Dougie Hunter is waving down Chris Boric in that number 1 spot, still holding on to it. As you can see, oh boy, see how it works? We already got one bike stuck. There's looks like Bryson Neal now in the number 2 spot. Man, there's a crowd down there.
It's unreal. You get caught being a spectator in this.
Just watching there, but yeah, Bryson Neal in the number 2 spot, Jared McClure 3rd. Wow, everybody's together. We kind of missed a couple riders there. There's Walker Fowler in the 4th place spot. Cole Richardson 5th. Hunter Hart up behind the first row in the number 6 place spot.
So Hunter 10th in points coming into this one, able to kind of move up. So, I mean, that could potentially help him pick out a podium, top 3 overall.
Yeah, he's working hard on that. There we have Marty Christopherson and Josh Merritt, 7th and 8th. They're staying close.
They are.
So far. But, yeah, here we go. That's Wesley Wolf. 2 people we need to keep an eye out for. That's Austin Abney there and Devin Feehan. We have 2 returning XC1 riders out there today. Brent Sturdivant and Kevin Yoho. They're going to be one to keep an eye on. They're on rows 5 and 6. So back to that time adjustment. All they need to do is catch that second and first row and run with those guys, and they already have 10 or 15 seconds on them. So I'm sure that's going to be what they're hoping to do. And right there is Kevin Yoho in the front of that pack.
That's something else. So we always talk about like the accordion effect. You got a section of the track like this where it all just kind of brings them together. And, is there any point, open field section, where's the window of opportunity for those guys to create some separation?
Separation, I don't know. It's it's tough at a place like
Yeah.
this, especially once you get into lappers. But I guess I would say in a place like this is probably the best place to make separation. You know, you get in a field section, everybody can go fast in a field section. You know, it's just wide open. But you see these people are getting hung up here. It only takes, you know, like we've seen Walker do so many times, it only takes a 3 or 5 second gap to turn that into 15. It's just getting that initial gap on somebody. But yeah, I would say in places like this is if you can get through here smooth and with your hands dry and your goggles clean, that's how you make up time here at a place like this.
Well, we're getting a good look at it, man. Howard's Hole in full effect right now. Rodney Tomlin getting ready to join us, struggling to get in. We got the yellow tape blocking our booth here. Boy, the crowd for the start was incredible. They were very eager. We had to create a little separation. Could barely work around our cords. It kind of looked like Howard's Hole does right now, actually.
Yeah, it sure
But it's
does.
all cleared out
this
now.
This whole place, I mean, Howard's Hole is extremely packed, but this whole resort, this Snowshoe Mountain Resort is packed. I mean, I think this place brings in people from all over the place to see a legendary race like this.
Yeah.
Rodney Tomlin now joining us in the booth. Get his take on things.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm pretty excited about what this weekend holds. You know, I was watching the weather forecast all week leading into this one, and you know, all they were talking about, thunderstorms, thunderstorms, and man, we've gotten some rain up here, but honestly, we're doing pretty good as far as that's really concerned. All the damage was actually done leading into this week and overnight last night. So you see Howard's Hole is prepared, and he is certainly, it is, I guess I should refer to it as, just waiting to challenge the riders. And this is just a small part of this. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk about this section of the track a whole lot yet, Landon, but like we said, this is just a small section, a small portion of this racetrack, and the thousands of people, or hundreds that we see here, but literally thousands of people down there in that hole right now, they become a major part of that obstacle too. You know, you could go walk that section of the racetrack and think you've got the perfect line figured out. That's not the case, because this is what you're faced with whenever you go down there, because the people are there now.
So one thing you can take notice here, we're getting riders hung up, but one thing I definitely noticed from row like 5 to, or maybe 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, whatever the gap was, we had a long time there with no riders coming through, so must have been a bottleneck or something. But as you can see, riders are getting stuck here in Howard's Hole and already having to start taking alternate routes, so I can only imagine what this is going to be like in about an hour and a half from
well,
now.
The terrain here is definitely some of the steepest and toughest terrain that we're faced with, and you got to wonder when you come up into a bottleneck situation. You know, a lot of the GNCCs we have, it's easy to plot a course around, but places like this and places like North Carolina, the mountains are really, really steep and really big. It's tougher to do that, so that might warrant why we're seeing some of those gaps. It's going to take a little extra time if somebody gets caught in an area where nobody can get around that.
Correct, and you're exactly right there. You know, you get into a section like this and you have a lapper stuck in front of you. At a normal race, your first thought is, oh, we'll find a line around this line. But honestly, I would say on each side of this Howard's Hole here is probably worse than Howard's Hole itself. So these woods are, there's something else. It's a sight to see, and it sure does make for one heck of a race. There we have a 4x4 in the afternoon race.
Oh wow, that's pretty neat. That's probably one of our senior class riders. I believe those guys are eligible to ride those, and probably not a bad choice of machines today.
Yeah,
no,
he made quick work of that.
Not at all. I mean, that might be about the best choice for this track here. I know, like I raced a 4x4 this morning, and man, going through stuff like this, it sure does make it a good bit easier.
That's what I was going to ask you, comparatively speaking. I mean, on a sport machine that you've raced in years past to the 4x4 Pro Class that you're racing now, I mean, it has to be monumentally different as far as traversing the trails itself.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a big difference in places like this. Some tracks, you know, most tracks I would say we're definitely going a good bit slower on the 4x4. They're such a big machine and a lot more weight to throw through the woods, but at a place like this they sure do work good. But here we have a top 5, current top 5 out on the track right now. We got Chris Porch still holding down that number 1 spot. Jared McClure Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, and Cole Richardson. So that is our first row here. So we don't, we probably, well, Hunter Hart actually maybe jumped up in there on time adjustment. Okay, here we go.
All right, we got adjusted time here, so we'll take a look at that now. Chris Borch is leading still after adjusted time. If you look at that adjusted time, it is by, what is that, 0.3 of a second. Honestly, I mean, that's how close and tight these battles can be here at Snowshoe Mountain, Landon. And when you got something like that, this is something that you're going to watch. And something else to point out is that Hunter is racing with these guys right now. He's not starting from the second row. He's in a much better advantage, or position, I should say, to take advantage of being able to utilize that second row to actually win an overall here today.
Yeah, we always say that second row, actually, it is the advantage, because all you have to do is catch that guy in front of you and follow him, and that's exactly what Hunter Hart's done. So he has caught the first row, following him around. They finished their first lap on the east side of the mountain, so they are now headed over to the west side of the mountain. So although they're on their second lap, they're still on brand new trail that they have not touched yet. But as of the first lap, it's Chris Borch, Hunter Hart in the XC2 class in the number 2 spot, Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, and Walker Fowler.
I tell you, looking at the beauty of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains coming together here in Snowshoe, West Virginia, of course. And wow, what an amazing scape that we have to look at here. We talk about the beauties. You know, we were at Tomahawk a few weeks ago in the Seneca Highlands. How beautiful that was. How beautiful the Steel Creek GNCC is in North Carolina. You know, we, as a racing community, are treated to some of the best and most magnificent spectacles on the planet.
Yeah, we sure do. I mean, we get so many tracks that we get to go to. You didn't remember Camp Coker. I mean, these places that the GNCC takes us for racing. I mean, I know we're still here to go racing, but it's truly a little bit of a vacation with views like this and towns like this. And no, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that, can you?
No, you can't. And we're sitting here looking at this beauty, but at the same time, we're waiting on our leaders to check in. We should be seeing Chris Borch, Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, Walker Fowler, Hunter Hart, and the rest of the folks coming into view here soon. How long is that? I don't know. This is the 7-mile marker on the west side of the mountain. And again, we keep talking about east side, west side. You'll see 2 laps, and we'll be talking like they're on the lap that was lap number 1. Basically, it takes 1 east side lap, 1 west side lap. That equals 1 full lap. So try not to be too confusing for you, but we'll keep you basically in tune with what's going on. You'll know what you need to know, and you'll know who's out front and when it's time for those checkers to fly. Right now, we are into this race.
There they go. They just popped out of the woods. Now they're going away from the camera now, but they jumped in the woods. They're jumping on this power line, heading out to finish the rest of this lap. But it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders at least.
Wow.
All in a pack still. And
that's pretty impressive right there. That's old school GNCC stuff we're looking at right there.
Shot here, man.
Beautiful footage there from our drone operator, Ian Howells, and, of course, a.k.a. Woody, if you will. But, wow, look at that. These guys moving actually pretty quick. I mean, this section of the racetrack, they're going uphill at this point, right?
Yeah, this is an uphill out on the power line. But as you can see, this is all virgin trail that they're on. There's Hunter Hart right there in the back of that. I can tell by his chest protector. But it's impressive. There's another drone as well.
I see that.
It's impressive. I mean, we got to have at least the top 2 rows still bumper to bumper. I mean, at least 9 riders out there still all together as one pack.
Well, rolling through and past the 7-mile marker on the west side of the mountain here. We should be treated to a completion of a lap here soon. I believe we are what?
We're going to have a little bit of look at it. Here's another big pack heading out the power line, but this should be about maybe the 2 or 3 mile marker of the west side, and I think that side's about 8 or 9 miles. So they're going to run out there, run some woods, and then they're actually going to come back into this shot that we have here, and they're going to be coming on the power line the other way. And
be coming uphill toward us, huh?
Right, and then they're going to head into pro pits from there, just down some fire roads and back to the second finish line.
the second finish line, the west side
The
finish
west
line,
side
east side and west side, and I believe pretty much a good portion of the west side. There's a lot of virgin terrain over there for these guys here in this afternoon race, I believe.
Yeah, it's we've raced over here before, and it's definitely it's not as beat in as the east side is. There's a lot of virgin trail, as you can see. The trail we're looking at right now, a lot of off camber over there. Maybe not quite as rough as the east side, but they're definitely still finding water out there. But one thing to take note, I know it was sprinkling and even some would call it raining here at the starting line, but skies have cleared up, and it's actually turning out to be a really decent day.
Yeah, and I think this is the type of thing that we can expect, and looking at radar, there were just spotty showers here and there throughout the area, moving in the general direction. Some were kind of headed toward us, some were headed near us, so yeah, we may end up seeing that quite a bit throughout the course of the day. The mud fleas are out in full force, there's no doubt, as riders trying to get through Howard's Hole here. As we take another look at the atmosphere down there, as we've got every individual, I think, that enjoys off-road racing, from a small child right on up to the oldest. And speaking of oldest, Jake Stratton raced with us again today, the 82-year-old that raced at the X Factor GNCC a few rounds ago. He raced out there this morning in that 10 o'clock race. I was blown away by that.
That's
I can imagine.
impressive.
Yeah, it is. He actually, there was another guy on the line with him about 20 years his junior, and he looked to be a little more energetic than the guy 20 years younger than him.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've heard stories about him, and it's one heck of a sight to see him out here battling this terrain. And he went down this exact trail here, and all I can say is hopefully I'm doing that at that point. Here comes the leaders up the hill. Chris Porch still out in the #1 spot. They're going to be heading into pro pits any minute now. Bryce and Neal in the #2 spot. Still haven't got our eyes on third, but man, look at the pack that they have.
Wow, just right there. I mean, still about 8 of those top riders nose to tail as they make their way up this power line now, as you said, getting ready to head into the pro pit section. And with that, you got to wonder, we're probably a half hour or so now into this race, I believe. If we take a look at times, 25:29 lap time last time around, and we are about 15 minutes into this lap or so. So probably closer to a 40-45 minute time frame right now is what we're looking at. But wow, this race really actually seeming to go pretty quick right now, Landon.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, with such long laps, it flies by pretty good. But man, I'm just blown away. I mean, the packs that we have out there. I know we have a little bit of a gap. The Wesley Wolf is leading this pack here, and it looks like he's got Kevin Yoho right behind him. But a little bit of a gap there. But we got a big pack here, big pack in the front. And it won't be long. We're going to see him coming back down that hill. I believe that's Kevin. I could be wrong now.
Through the pits now. There goes Chris Borch. Looks like Bryce and Neal. They're going to pit Bryson, it looks like. This is a strategy that could pay some huge dividends, especially with these riders running so tightly together right now, Landon. There's Hunter Hart. What's his strategy going to be? It looks like he's got the hammer down and continuing on.
It looks like Adam McGill pulled in there. So did Hunter Hart. So, it doesn't look like everybody pulled in. Looks like maybe Marty or Greg Covert's pulling in there. But the one thing to take note is you only go through the pro pits on the west side, not on the east side. So they might be taking advantage of such a good, clean area to pit now. But does that mean they're going to have to pit again?
Right. That is a big question. And I think the actual conditions, the terrain itself will warrant that. Like we found out at X Factor, Walker Fowler's gas mileage was not nearly as well as what it had been in the past. And with these types of conditions, I mean, we're uphills, downhills, rocks, mud, you name it.
Fast roads even. But
yep,
there they are out of pits. Chris Porch, Jared McClure, the 2 PA boys, hanging in there tough.
Now you got to take into consideration, okay, who made the best choice here? Who made the wiser choices? Chris Porch and Jared McClure by going ahead and trying to stretch things out, get a little bit of a comfort zone out there. This is the type of things that they want to do. And these two out front together can really do something like that, I believe, because they're good friends and they race a lot together and off GNCC weekends and stuff. So this could be pretty interesting to see what kind of lead they can amass here. And will it pay off for them to go ahead and try to do that? Will they lose time at the pits, or will the pit stop that Hunter Hart and the rest of the field took there just a few moments ago, Bryce and Neal, pay bigger dividends for them whenever these guys have to pit. I guess a lot of it's going to hinge on what happens out here on the racetrack. If we run into a bottleneck and those guys are able to close back up on those front two, then it's going to work for the guys that pitted early. If it doesn't, then it's going to work for the guys that pit late, like Jared and Chris.
Yep. So only time will tell here, but yeah, like you said, it's kind of just a toss-up. It could work, it could not work. But there we have the second group. The only thing that is going to keep, or right now, and this could change in a matter of seconds, but right now the only thing that's going to keep Chris and Jared from running away from this is the fact that Walker Fowler is about 4 seconds behind him. So.
Now, did Walker stop?
He did not.
He did not.
No,
okay,
he did not
wow,
stop.
that's interesting as well. So you've got those three runners up front. Those three riders, they could push the gap that we're talking about. But again, the thing that we got to remember is there's other riders out here on this trail. They've got to get through Howard's Hole again, as well as the rest of this Snowshoe Mountain course.
Yeah. I think the main thing we have to remember here is that this is Snowshoe,
Yeah.
and anything could happen out there. I mean, you guys see what the track looks like out there. It can go your way and not go your way in a matter of seconds. So any second now. So this here is our two different finish lines. Right now we're seeing amateur riders finish up the east side of the mountain. But any second, we're going to be seeing Chris Borch, Jared McClure, and Walker Fowler and the rest of the group coming in to finish their first lap on the west side of the mountain.
Well, as we wait here for that, going to be exciting. Again, we expect right now we have Hunter Hart in second. I have to think that time adjustments would drop him back probably to a 4th or 5th place position. But what will be more interesting is to see how much time he can make up on that east side of the mountain and whether or not he's able to gap that back. And that east side of the mountain sometimes might be the more challenging side, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. The east side definitely, it has a lot more big areas that could cause problems. The west side is more of I mean, it's very hard, but it's more of a smooth trip through. Change up in the lead here. We now have Jared McClure in the number 1 spot, Chris Borch in second, Walker Fowler in third. I believe that was Cole Richardson in fourth, but
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. That was Cole. Cole running 1.8 seconds off pace.
Here we have a good ride out of Marty Christofferson. Started on the second row, and then right behind him, Hunter Hart. So Hunter Hart should have dropped back a few spots.
Yeah, he did, all the way back to 8th place after that pit stop. So interesting there. Again, though, the pit stop next time around for your front runners could change things up. As, again, Jared McClure moves out front. Chris Borch in second. Walker Fowler running only 3 seconds behind in the number 3 spot, and less than 2 behind him is Cole Richardson. Another 3 seconds back to Marty Christofferson, the Ridgeford Rocket. Hunter Hart is running 6. Adam McGill in 7. Bryson Neal in 8th. And we wait for Josh Merritt, Kevin Yoho, and the rest of the boys. And I got to say, probably one of our sleepers could be Britt Sturdivant here today, one of West Virginia's own, as we'll be watching the 149 machine who finished up in 11th on the first lap of the east side of the mountain. And as we update things here now, we see that Bryson Neal is 8th, Josh Merritt is in the 9th place, Yoho is 10th, Collier is up to 11th, Wesley Wolf is 12th. Sturdivant hasn't checked in yet, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily because he was the last row.
Right there. So
yep.
He's in the 6th row, so he has a pretty good time gap between him and the leaders. So we're getting ready to see him come through.
And Sturdivant, wow, still not checked in according to timing and scoring. Or has he now? Yeah, there he is. He back to 11th place again. So he's still in that 11th place position. You look at elapsed time right now. The leaders of McClure and Borch are looking at 40 minutes and 42 seconds and 43 seconds. All the way back to Brent Sturdivant right now, 41 minutes and 26 seconds. So you're looking at about 40 seconds or so difference there. And again, Snowshoe, GNCC, you've said it, anything can happen here. That's not too far out of the running to think that we could see him starting to inch his way closer and closer to the front of the pack, especially as this track gets tougher and more beat in as the day wears on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as these guys keep going racing, one thing I definitely noticed this morning, the more the track was raced on, the muddier, the muckier, the stickier it got. But I I'm anxious to see what happens here on the next lap when these pros come through Pro Row. I noticed if you guys are looking at the live timing, you're obviously going to notice that Hunter Hart, Bryson Neal, and I believe Adam pitted as well. I could be wrong, but I believe he did. They all moved back pretty far, and that's just because they all pitted.
Right, yeah, they were nose to tail. The top 8 that are now about 40 seconds apart, or actually somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 seconds apart, were about 10 seconds apart whenever we first seen them, but pretty crazy the way that's working out. Let's take a look real quick at some of these other amateur classes while we got just a moment here, waiting on some of these top XC1 riders to check in. We'll watch for them. I see Drew Landers and Ben Kowalewski have checked in the XC2 Pro-Am, so let's go check in and see how that individual class is doing. We're paying attention right now to the overall, but on an individual class basis, Hunter Hart has a 58, almost 59-second lead over John Glotta, the 712 machine, who won in Georgia earlier this year, the Waxhaw, North Carolina rider. The third place, Austin Abney, 703, always a strong starter out of Petersburg, Indiana, only a couple of seconds behind Glotta right now. Kowalewski is that fourth place position. In fifth place, Drew Landers. This is after 2 laps of racing for the XC2 Pro-Am. Top 5 there for you. And we'll be looking there. Steve Covert in now as well. We see that J.D. Brown, Brody Livingood, Charles Dunn, and Gabe Nod should be checking in a moment. What's
Just caught the tail end of that one. That guy hit that rock a little bit hard up over the handlebars he went.
I think I heard the crowd clear up here from over the hill. And see, these are the moments right here that cost so much time. And this guy stops and another guy comes. Then all of a sudden you've got kind of a congestion there because that whole trail's blocked, and he's going to have to go around all those people to try to get around. So these types of things are what we call and create bottlenecks with what we're watching out here right now.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm sure you guys understand, but it's just how traffic jams work. One guy gets stuck, one guy has a little accident, and it just compiles and compiles and compiles, and eventually you just have absolute chaos.
Exactly. And quickly now, just real quick, after that first lap of racing, this is going to be an interesting one, I think, to watch. The College A 16 to 21-year-old class, Ronnie Rush out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had about a 7-second lead over Matthew Blankenship out of Greenwood, Indiana, the 127 machine. Hayden Nicholson, the 403 from Morgantown, West Virginia, was another 16 seconds back in third. Coastal Racing's Eli Kiger, the 808 from Waynesburg, PA, running in fourth place. Seth Wilson, the 501 from Smithfield, Pennsylvania, rounding out that top 5. So Ronnie Test Rush leading that. Have you seen the kid's hair? He looks just like Johnny Test, man.
Yeah, he definitely does. I actually always comment on that every time I see him, but it's working for him. We'll let him have it.
Yes, we will. Run it, Ronnie, run it. Hey, let's check in with that Junior A class. And again, we watch here at Howard's Hole, and these are the types of things. And you can see, too, a lot of these riders are starting to get tired out there. That's something that they do at Snowshoe that you don't traditionally see maybe as quickly at other races.
Yeah, I mean, Snowshoe's brutal. This place is rough, and there's a lot of trails out there that's just maybe a fire road or something that does give you a good breather, but to get through a section like this, man, it takes a lot out of you, and I feel like, you know, we're only, 40 minutes into this race, maybe 50 now, but 50 minutes going through stuff like this, that's a long time.
That is. Real quick, an update on that College A class. Ronnie Rush just checked in a few moments ago. He is still leading Matthew Blankenship, the 127 machine. The gap now 18.6 seconds as we take a look at the Junior A class. Jordan Popolaski, the 381 out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, a 3-second lead over Angola, Indiana's Braden Nichols, the 385, the 331 of Lisbon, Ohio, and riding out of Can-Am, Charles Dawson. Fourth place, the 417, Brady Myers from Walker, West Virginia. Honda mounted ride, the 358 of Clifton Graff from Harrisville, Pennsylvania. Another 7 seconds back in fifth, and sixth through 10th, James Mauger Jr. from Elmer, New Jersey. Then, of course, he is sixth. Seventh place, Nick Davidson, the 228 from Steubenville, Ohio. Eighth place, Zach Wright out of Granite Falls, North Carolina, the 43. Luke Shepard, the 724 from Marion, Ohio, is ninth. And Ryan Thompson, the 86 from Summertown, Tennessee, rounds out your top 10. Things aren't getting any easier at Howard's Hole, it doesn't appear, Landon.
No, they sure aren't. Like I was just saying, I think it's only going to get worse. The trails are only going to get wider, and it's a good camera shot we got here. I mean, that guy is going backwards because he got to a point where he realized, you know, I can't get through here, so I'm going to turn around and maybe try and restart this whole scenario.
Well, as they work this, we look at our Vet A30 Plus class. They should be checking in about any moment. Corbin Knox, a name we haven't seen very often in this Vet A30 Plus class, out of Mercer, Pennsylvania. The 801 with an 11.5-second lead over Big Papa B. Jeff Pickens there. The 21 machine out of Shamokin, PA. James Green running in the 3rd spot aboard the 275 from St. Mary's, West Virginia. A.J. Kuntz is in 4th aboard the 58 from Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. Corey Blinkowicz out of Elwood City, Pennsylvania on the Yamaha number 415 rounds out the top 5. Then it's Brian Vasco, Brad Wood, and Jeremy Gouchard. But how about this Vet A30 Plus class? A little bit of a mix-up with a few extra names in there. Knox out front. You got James Green in there also mixing things up also.
Yeah, I tell you, that Vet A class is one of my favorites to watch. It's a lot of old pros. Corbin used to be a really great rider. Jeff Pickens, obviously a pro rider. James Green, a pro rider. Tom Kuntz, I believe he ran Pro-Am. Just a bunch of really good riders out there, and they have some of the best battles on the track at the time anyway. And as we're getting another example of that today.
No update on the Vet A30 Plus class. Told you they were due in any moment. Jeff Pickens just checked in through the finish line from the west side. He is out front now. And I will say this, lap time 16:23, and we'll wait for just a few moments because he was running, what was it, some 12 seconds or so back behind Corbin Knox. So this is pretty interesting that he's gotten around. Now he has a 28.8 second lead over Knox. That's how quick things turn around.
Yeah, they sure do. So I'm guessing that look, there we're going. We got some more fireworks going off down here in the woods, but I'm guessing that west side must also be just as tough as the east side because that's probably where these gaps are coming from. But I'm anxious to see them jump back down into Howard's Hole here. I mean, look at this. We got a guy coming down this hill backwards.
That's not the way you do that, my friend. Oh, he was going up the wrong side. He thought it was an alternate line, I guess. That one looks rough. I'm going to go up the other side and see if it's any better. But it wasn't. He had traffic coming right at him. Senior A class, another, interesting battle shaping up here. Brian Shaw out of Harrisville, Pennsylvania. Must really love Snowshoe Mountain. A 1-26-second lead over the 386 of Justin Kerr out of Waynesburg, PA. John Salsa all the way from Warwick, Rhode Island. Been enjoying watching John ride in the Senior A class, the 410 machine with a 42-second gap from second place, but enjoying a 8.8-second lead over the 636 of Mark Batson out of LaSalle, Michigan. 5th place is Michael Hayes, the 48 machine from Rocky Face, Georgia, and then out of Ida, Michigan, that is Mark Batson's brother, Dale Batson, the 671. Both of those guys, media all-star racers, part of that big team. And right now, looking at some of these other classes, we take a look next at, let's take a look at this College B class, as we'll wait for more updates on our top pro riders out there. Again, when we last left, it was Jared McClure leading Chris Borich with Walker Fowler and Cole Richardson right there in hunt as well. Just nose to tail, basically, as they went through that finish line. The biggest gap was 3 seconds between second and third out there. So we'll see what happens when they wrap up the east side lap number 2 here in just a couple moments as we take a look at the College B class after the east side complete. They're working on west side right now. Chase Allison, the 470 from McClellantown, Pennsylvania, with a lead over the 722 of Rhett Cox from Campbellsville, Kentucky. College beat 16-21, 3rd place then. 330 of Jaron Dawkins from Spartanburg, South Carolina, 38 seconds back. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. Some of these leaders, they get out to a pretty good jump, and you wonder oftentimes how that happens. And sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's skill, and sometimes the spirits of the mountains is just playing in your favor that day. Chase certainly must have had some talks with the spirits of the mountains last night, because he's got almost 2 minutes leading this class. Back to 4th place as we look at that. Alan Daniels, the 341 from Mooresville, Indiana. Devin Thomas rounds out the top 5 from St. Thomas, Pennsylvania. Mount Morris, PA, Ron Howard, the 338 in 6th place. No, that's not Little Richie Cunningham from the Happy Days. 7th place, the 555 of Colton Kendall from Williamstown, West Virginia. Landon has no idea who I'm talking about. 8th place, the 99 of Jeremy Ladon from Glenshaw, Pennsylvania. 9th place, the 490 Austin Straw from Tower City, Pennsylvania. 10th place, the 816 of Cale Howard out of Kingman, Indiana. That's your top 10 College B class. 16-21. Well, Ron Howard, who is a major and great director, used to be a star, Opie when he was little, and then he was Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. But anyway,
I'll just have to take your word on this.
You're going to have to, young man. Yeah, that's funny. I'm really dating myself right now. But interesting Junior B class. George Corbin out of Fairmont, West Virginia, leading this one 27 seconds over the 3:56 of Hughesburg, Maryland's Justin Miller. A minute and 10 seconds over Michael Jarasco, the 4:07 from Fairmont, West Virginia. 57 seconds back to Torrin Johnson, the 7:30 in fourth place out of Ravenswood, West Virginia. Cody Holcomb from Ridgewood, West Virginia, rounding out the top 5. 4 of the top five are all West Virginia natives. That's some pretty good bragging rights, I think, there for the by God State here. Brett Baker of the 3:15 from Salem, Ohio, runs in 6th, 7th out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Alan Blabos, the 3:62, 3:57. Nick Miller from Bristolville, Ohio, runs in 8th. 9th place, Emily Wise out of Waynesburg, PA, our whole shot princess, or queen, if you will. 8:13, Cody Stewart from Pleasant City, Ohio, rounds out your top 10. I see David Kite out here in this one in the Junior B 22+ class. Had a chance to talk to his dad last night. Want to wish his dad and his mom a happy 29th anniversary today, by the way.
Wow.
David's running in 12th. Maybe he'll do something special for him in their anniversary and find some really fast lines out here at Snowshoe for him.
I'm sure his parents would love that one.
Aaron Hinder shot the 120, leading the Vet B 30+ class out of Mansfield, Ohio. Then the 7:19 of Chris Conklin from Sistersville, West Virginia, about 13 seconds back in second. Third place, the 3:52 of Ben Ellis from Indianapolis, Indiana. Fourth place, C.J. Mullet from Crawfordsville, Indiana. The 270 and Wesley Smith from Lexington, Ohio. Rounds out the top 5 aboard the 5:52. You know, I find it kind of interesting. We got one more B class, the senior class, I think we'll take a look at. But something to point out to you, Landon, in just a moment. Ed King, the 361 from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, leading the senior B class. Peter Dandria out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania, the 292 in second. 711, Brian Locke out of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, in third. Fourth place, Greg Phillips, the 353 from Monterey, Tennessee. And the 79, Lyle Morrison from North Attleboro, Massachusetts, in fifth place. That's your senior B class. You notice the different names that we see here at Snowshoe GNCC, and I want to point this out. We have a lot of names that we see only once or twice a year, maybe some of these high-profile races like this, and then there are names that we generally always seem to see and hear that we're not hearing here today. I think it's funny how some people utilize this as a throwaway round if they're running for championships because they might be trying to save their machines because of the terrain or whatever the case may be, while others use this as their one dream ride for that season. You know, they pick and choose just a couple that they come to, and this happens to be one of the premier events that they come to.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that one. You know, it's this is definitely a premier race, and I think that's why it brings out some people. But it can also definitely damage your stuff because of how rough it is and all. But I think that is why we see people like Brent Sturdivant, Kevin Yoho. I mean, those guys are so good in the mud. They like to come here and showcase what they have for everyone.
Exactly, and you know, we always see Brent out at other events like, you know, close to home, and I think we see him on occasion in Ohio at John Penton. We'll see him, I'm sure, over at the Mason-Dixon GNCC next fall. That's right there in his backyard as well.
He likes the rocks. Yeah. All these races you're naming, they're all the rough ones. But, man, that kid he's good in the rocks. He's good in the mud. That's just that's what he specializes in. So he can't. I guess he doesn't have the opportunity to be a full-time racer anymore. But it's cool to see him and people like Kevin and himself come out and still put on a heck of a show for everybody and maybe mix things up a little bit.
Well, as we take a look at this race and this battle right now, we've been focusing a lot on the top 10 in that overall and in other classes. Right now, let's take a look a little further back in the top 20 as we take a quick scan again of the overall top 10. Jared McClure leading Chris Borich. They were less than a second apart when they checked in from the west side of the mountain. Whenever they came out of the last shot, it was Chris Borich leading, but somehow McClure had gotten around. One thing to point out, Borich is one of those riders who does not generally like to lead until right at the very end. Hence, that's where the Borich thing came in many years ago when he would pass riders on the last lap. We saw that a couple of weeks ago when he and Walker Fowler were battling nose to tail in New York. And, you know, you have to think, you know, things have changed up so much. Will Chris Borich ever change that philosophy of racing? And if he does, will it changed the outcome of races. Today it doesn't appear he's done that, unless, again, maybe Jared just got around him. He is the sneaky snake.
Yeah, he sure is. I don't know. You know, Chris has always worked that way, and it's certainly worked for a long time. And I'm not saying it wouldn't work now, but you know, maybe Chris does need to take a shot at the lead there for a while. But you know, maybe he's just more comfortable following for a little bit and getting an eye on everything, picking out his lines, being in second place. But it sure is. Yeah, I know that it's some pretty easy trail from Pro Row back to the finish line, and the fact that Jared got around him there, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Chris probably maybe bobbled a little bit.
All right, we're here at the Monster Mile, Howard's Hole. I just want to point out something. There's a host of guys standing there with beers in hand, pointing at the rider in one direction. He looks at him, looks that way, looks back at them, and goes straight.
Yep. I'm going to do something different, guys.
They were trying to send him, I think, into the treacherous part of Howard's Hole. But, hey, you know, none of it's easy. That's for doggone sure. But look at that. There's the Mud Fleas out in full force. Look at these kids out there all having a good time, and moms and dads right there with them. This is a good family sport, whether you're racing or whether you're coming spectating. That's what I like about this.
Oh, that's the best thing about GNCC racing. I mean, I've met so many people out here in the many years I've been racing this series, and just so many good families, and I mean, look how much fun these people are having.
She's laughing.
She is just cracking up.
And she's not even paying
attention.
And
then look at this guy. He is covered in mud. I mean, talk about like a, what do they call them? Like mud bath, mud spa, whatever.
Okay, I'm going to date myself again. Have you ever seen the movie Rambo: First Blood Part 2?
No, I haven't.
That guy, well, there's a scene in that where Rambo lays against the mud bath. You can't even see him, and then he opens his eyes. That's what that guy looks like.
Yeah,
until he moved, I thought he was a rock there until you said something about it.
If he'd lay on that rock, people would probably try and use him for traction. But no, so he better maybe clean out his eyeballs or something. But yeah, I mean, that's the best part about this. I mean, these people are so happy just to be involved and get their hands in on this and have some fun out here in West Virginia.
Wow, man, this is real fun. This is real outdoors fun. This is what the heart of West Virginia is all about. I mean, we all love being out and being a part of the mountains. You can't be any more a part of this nature than what you are right there. You're into it right there, and you're into something huge and monumental with this race here at Snowshoe Mountain, which was announced this morning by Frank DeBerry, the president here at Snowshoe Mountain Resort. He announced that we have renewed a contract through 2020, so we'll be here for at least another couple more years, and they'll reassess the contract at that point. I'm sure we'll be here a few more.
Oh boy, I'd like to hear what these people are chanting, and I think this is all in good fun, just playing around in the mud. But if we could only just hear what's going on down there, I'm sure it's hectic.
You got a good case of King of the Rock going on down there, I think, or something.
Yep. It's these guys look like they're having a blast, and
wow, things have slowed down on this east side of the mountain, though. Look at that. I mean, we should be seeing these guys checking in soon on the east side. That'll be lap 3, but actually lap and a half complete technically when you look at the grand scheme of things. But lap 2 on the east side of the mountain is what we're waiting to wrap up right now, and there hasn't been a whole lot of traffic through unless they're bypassing this part of the Monster Mile and Howard's Hole. But generally, I don't think so. I think the people funneling right through
They
here.
wouldn't bypass it with such a clean path there. I think we just got everybody through. Everybody's through. So one good thing is when the pros get back to this section, which I would imagine is going to be here shortly, they're going to have another clean track. So they're not hitting lappers until well into this race.
One thing I will point out, I'll tell you this. The lap time on the first lap of the east side of the mountain, what was it, like 25 minutes or something like that, I think it was?
Yeah, I believe so.
West side of the mountain, really, it seemed like it was a long time, but it was just over 15 minutes on that west side. So right now, if you look at the grand scheme of things, we are probably still about 7-8 minutes or so before we could expect to see the leaders come
Here they come into Chris Borch back into the number 1 spot, coming down into Howard's Hole. Man, maybe I was wrong about him not wanting to lead. Walker Fowler right behind him. Cole Richardson in the number 3 spot. What a heck of a ride for that young man. And it looks like here we got another Yamaha in 4th. I wonder who that might be.
Is that Fowler?
I don't know. No, Fowler's in the number 2 spot.
Okay, so where's McClure at then?
That's what I'm wondering. This looks like a Bryson Neal fan. Yep, that's Bryson Neal in the number 4 spot. Jared McClure in the number 5 spot.
Wow.
So we still have the entire first row together. And Hunter Hart.
That right there should put him close to
Okay,
the
here's something to take note. Cole Richardson sitting. Saw the back of Cole Richardson.
To the left.
Yeah, pan.
Pan back to the left.
Is that, yep, right there. What's going on? Cole Richardson looks like he is having some bike issues.
Uh-oh, that is not good.
Doesn't look like he's
Man,
stuck.
I tell you, he cannot buy a break this year. He really cannot. He had some things going on.
Running 3rd place in a podium spot, and there he sits down in Howard's Hole. I wonder if something just happened or this was a build-up. Man, what a bummer for that young man getting off the bike. He must know that something's broke because it doesn't even look like they're trying to play with it. But goggles off, man. Podium position to sitting on the track.
Wow, he started out the season so strong. I mean, he got probably the best races of his career at like rounds 3 and 4 this year, and it just seems like it's all gone downhill for him since then.
Yeah, he just had small setbacks just like this one. I mean, I was just getting ready to say, man, it would be cool to see Cole hop back up on the podium today, and doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Well, back to this Hunter Hart scenario. He was running, what was that, 6th place? He had pulled up into right on the rear wheels of the 5th place riders there. So you got to start thinking that with him being that close, is he now back into a threat for the overall lead position with time adjustment?
Right, so Hunter Hart is definitely now in the 5th place physically position and at least 4th placed overall, but today might be a day for an overall podium for him. I mean, especially after he's already pitted, so he may not have to pit this lap. I don't know. We'll see how they plan this. But look this here. This guy's taking a bad trail. I'm not sure who that is, but now he's going backwards on the track. It's chaos down there. But Hunter Hart's definitely going to be something to look at here when he comes through. And then as well, when they go over to the west side, what happens in that pro pit section.
Well, I'll tell you what, temperature's starting to fall again here. We had that sunshine out, so it's starting to cool off here on top of the mountain. That means that we could have another weather front passing by or close by.
There's that Brent Sturdivant coming through Howard's Hole, that West Virginia native.
And so with that being said, about the weather, what I was talking about there, Landon, we could see some showers, maybe not even here, but maybe on one part of the racetrack, and that's we've seen it on more than one occasion, but it seems to be more prevalent here in West Virginia on either the east side or the west side. Sometimes you have showers in one place and you don't the other.
Especially when you have a track this size. Okay.
We'll take a look here in just a few moments. If you're just tuning in to the Snowshoe GNCC, we're just over 54 minutes into this. We are working on lap 2, actually, of the east side of the mountain. Got an east side and a west side. And
so it's technically lap 3, but they're on lap 2 of the east side. But here's the track map again for anybody that tuned in a little bit late today. They are over at the east side right now, as you can see at Howard's Hole where the little black mark is. That is a camera spot. So they're finishing up their east side. They're getting ready to come up to that finish line section at the top of the ski slopes that you can see there. And then they head over to the west side to run that side. And like you said, the west side is a good bit, I think about 10, 12 minutes shorter than the east side. And the west side also includes pro pits. So they are allowed to pit on the east side. Normally you're only allowed to pit in the designated pro pit area. But because of the length of this track, they are allowed to pit on the east side as well.
Well, as we take a look at time adjustments, Adam McGill has once again began to tame McGill's Mountain here at Snowshoe, as he is your overall leader after time adjustments. He started, what, row 2?
No, yeah, row 2, but I didn't even, well, he must have been right behind Cole because I didn't even see him in Howard's Hole, but now he is our overall leader.
At 25:19 lap time that last time around. He has a 106.12.6 elapsed time. That puts him 6 seconds ahead of Chris Borch on adjusted time right now. So Chris Borch, again, in the lead position. He's been in this position before, and it's so hard for Chris Borch to win here. He's won class here on more than one occasion, but only won one overall, if memory serves me correct, here on the mountain.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never even saw Adam McGill come through Howard's Hole there, but he does have the overall lead. Chris Borch in second, Walker Fowler third. How about this one? Marty Christofferson in the number 4 spot. That would be a record ride for him. Hunter Hart in the number 5 spot, leading XC2.
Wow, that right there. And I kind of expected maybe to see Hunter a little further up, but there's a lot of things can happen through the rest of Howard's Hole out there to change things up. Bryson Neal, wasn't he running like second or third place? He's all the way back to...
Well, he was in second, but then he pitted, dropped to about 7th or 8th, so he's back up to 6th. But, man, look how close they all are. I mean, one mud hole, he could go from 6th to the lead. So can't count anything out as of right now, but... yeah, I mean, we got some big things happening. Adam McGill leading the overall. Obviously, Chris Walker there. Marty Christofferson, number 4 spot. Hunter Hart still contending for a overall podium position today.
Wow, this is only starting to get interesting as we are nearing the 1 hour mark. This is the halfway point of this race, if you will, my friends. And wow, already Adam McGill making things exciting here. Again, a 106.12 elapsed time, a 106.18 for Chris Borch. That's 6 seconds that we're looking at. And with that, I know a lot of folks in the McGill Mafia are starting to get pretty amped up and pretty pumped up as well. The rest of the field looking like Walker Fowler in 3rd, Marty Christofferson in 4th, Hunter Hart from the XC2 Pro-Am now in 5th, and it's Neal, McClure, Merritt, Cover, and Kevin Yoho rounds out your top 10. Will Chris Borch be able to overcome it? Will McGill tame this mountain once again? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
The halfway point is here, and these riders have endured over an hour now of hard battling through the woods at extremely high heart rates, the type the average athlete couldn't even fathom for this level of distance. Can they stick with it to the end? Don't click that X. GNCC Live on RacerTV.com continues after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best. The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I
only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series synthetic motor oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations.
Ooh, hey guys, you scared me. It's a Gator here, wanting to make sure you, and I mean you, in there, are tuned in to watch GNCC Live on RacerTV.com. Peace.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Landon Wolf and Mikey Wayne's out and about, and Adam McGill is leading once again here at Snowshoe Mountain. Starting off on road number 2. Didn't even seem to be a factor in this one until the end of lap number 3, or the end of the second lap on the east side of the mountain. He it's got about a 6-second lead over Chris Borch when you look at time adjustments, and Walker Fowler running back in third. Marty Christopherson, the Richford Rocket out of New York. He is a sophomore in the XC1 Pro class this year. He's running in fourth, and Hunter Hart, a fellow New York rider that he races with, I think one of his biggest nemesis up there in Wainoa, and Hunter Hart rounds out your top 5. So pretty interesting stuff going on here. McGill out front, Chris Borch in second, Walker Fowler in third, Marty Christopherson and Hunter Hart. But really cool things going on there. Things mixed up, and this is a little different look to GNCC.
Yeah, it's like we were just talking about a little bit earlier. This kind of evens everything out a little bit. Or I don't want to say like evens it out, but gives everybody a little bit more of a fighting chance, I guess you could say. And man, do we have some tight racing. I mean, some of the guys that we have up here in the top 5 even. Adam McGill out in the lead, which we know Adam McGill's capable of winning all the time.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. We really didn't start talking a whole lot about him, and the crazy thing about it is that this mountain, I mean, he's claimed it. He calls it McGill's Mountain. He's got 4 wins up here, and he's got a lot of confidence coming into it. And whether we count him in or count him out or whatever the case may be, he's always in whenever it comes to the run here at Snowshoe Mountain. And, of course, talking a little bit about that, we did get a chance to catch up with Adam and talk more about his relationship with Snowshoe.
We've won here 4 times, so this will be the drive for 5 is what we're calling it. So, you know, I mean, with the weather we've got and the weather that we're possibly going to be getting, we've made some bike changes, you know, essentially in preparation for what we're about ready to embark on. So I've seen a couple trailers of bikes coming in, and it's no different than any other year. It's just a hell of a lot wetter. So we're going to make the best of it, put a smile on our face, because at the end of the day, everybody's out there in the same stuff I am.
Well, he's right. Ain't things much different. He's out front, and he knows where he wants to be, and it is wet. It is very wet out there this year, man.
Yeah, it's a mess, and I know we got a little bit of rain on the starting line, and it's not pouring down right now, but the rain is back, and as you can see right there on the roads and on that pipeline there, or power line, I mean, it's getting wet again. It's getting more slick, and I don't know that any more rain is going to hurt it anymore from the amount of rain that we've already had. I mean, yesterday was just a torrential downpour all day.
Well, you got a good point there, but I have to wonder, I mean, and you can answer this question, but would the rain and the wetness on the rocks that have now been exposed cause it to be a little more slick?
Absolutely. It can't help. That's for sure. The old saying, it can't hurt, but the rain can't help. But I don't know that it's going to make it too much worse. But man, what a view we have here.
That right there is the top of Snowshoe Mountain. You can see the village off to the top right side of the screen there, and that's the main heart of the village. But you can see how much of this mountain that Snowshoe actually encompasses. There's houses all across this mountain.
No, okay. False alarm. That can't be the leaders.
Yeah,
they are our leaders. Is that true?
That's what. Yeah, and you know that could be a possibility. Remember, this is only a 15-minute lap on this side of the mountain, so we've been spending a whole lot of time talking about the craziness that time has flown that fast, my friend. And here we are faced with nearly another lap complete. So the next time we see these guys, won't we see them in pro pits here in just a second?
Yeah, they're going to be in pro pits any second now. Like we were saying earlier, that second row start from Adam is really playing in his favor now. All he has to do is catch the leader and follow them. He has no need to pass them. He has no need to be in front of them. He can follow them to the end of the race, and that would be his day.
And this is where Chris Borch, who is physically leading, and now Walker Fowler, who is second physically on the racetrack, this is where they flip the switch and they try to stretch things out and try to lose the rest of the field and lose that 6 or so seconds.
Yep, there they are coming through pro pit. So I guess we missed the first couple guys. See Marty Christopherson, see Jared McClure coming through. Looks like Hunter Hart will be pitting again. I saw his mother out there with the fuel can. So like we were saying earlier, they did pit on the first lap, but they can't make it the rest of the race without another pit, so they might as well do it now, get it out of the way.
So Adam McGill, Chris Borch, Walker Fowler, actually none of those guys, well, I'm not sure if Adam did or not, but Chris Borch and Walker, I'm pretty sure, did not pit last time around.
No, so I'm sure they definitely pitted this time, which is perfect timing, being we're an hour and 5 minutes into this race. Pitted just over halfway, and they're easily going to make it the rest of the race.
Well, Mikey Wayne's down in the pits. I'm sure he's got some pretty interesting stories to tell, what maybe some of the strategies and the different mindsets are down there. So we'll be hearing a report coming in from him here shortly.
Yeah, there comes the leaders down the hill right there. Okay, I couldn't quite tell who that was. I believe that might have been Fowler out front. Man, it's tough with all this mud on these guys. I normally feel like I'm pretty good at this, but I'm straining my eyeballs over here. One guy I have not seen is Adam McGill come through. I know we're on a little bit of a freeze frame right now.
You hear that, I don't know if you can hear that hum and that buzz, and that's the technical I guess, obstacles that we are faced with here at RacerTV. Mikey's way out in the prop pit, so let's go down and check in with Mikey. Mikey, what's going on? What's the buzz, buddy?
Thanks, guys. It's buzzing, that's for sure. So both the Borich pits and the McGill pits are ready to pit. The pit crews all focused, ready, towels ready, water ready, goggles ready. Both riders come flying by here. They want to race, man. They went right back out there. No pit for either rider, and it is a battle between McGill and Borich.
All righty, Mikey, thanks a lot. And here's something that we got to remember. Now, remember, we are at Snowshoe. Remember, they let them set pit stops up on the other side of the mountain. They've done that in the past, so It wouldn't surprise me if maybe they might be planning a pit stop on the east side of the mountain rather than that side of the mountain. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's worked in years past, correct?
I would say they're definitely planning on that because they couldn't make it back to pro pits. I'm sure, without running out of fuel. I would guess that maybe neither one of them. They were both hoping on the other one to pit, and then that was going to be their opportunity to jump out front for a while, but that didn't work because they both went by it. So, so it must be Borch and McGill out front, and Fowler in third, which is actually what the ticker on screen here shows. So
yeah, that's what it says. Time adjustments right now.
We're going to be having them come through the finish line of the west side any minute now, any second now probably. So. Anxious to see how far maybe Borch and McGill have stretched it out a little bit. Is McGill now in the number 2 spot physically? Is he in the lead physically? Where's Fowler? Where's Christopherson? And where's Hunter Hart?
Yeah, you can't. And there's two names you don't want to count out: Marty Christopherson and Hunter Hart. Marty is kind of a guy that you don't necessarily count in and things like this, but he's a rider that I think we're going to start doing that in the future. He's running and he's showing us the grit that he's got to run in these West Virginia mountains like this.
Yeah, definitely an impressive ride out of Marty Christopherson, and it's so cool to see him do this. I mean, works a full-time job at home, does whatever he can in the evenings to get ready for the races, and to come out here and run a 4th place overall position, even, I mean, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this race now, but man, what an accomplishment for him, and hopefully he can just hold on to it and bring her into the finish line in at least close to where he is now.
Well, waiting with bated breath to find out how this one will all unfold here at Snowshoe Mountain. And you know, one of the things that all these riders right now up front are thinking, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. And, you know, Chris Borich, I'm sure especially with the position that he's in, he's been getting closer and closer to getting back to that win. We're what now, 47 races or something like that, 48 races into this now, where I think Chris Borich has not won a race, and it would be a good weekend for him to do that. So these guys all want to keep moving forward.
Yeah, quite a few races now, and that's what everybody said during the beginning of the race. Keep the bike moving forward, and that is the key here. But another thing to take note that I don't know that we've mentioned yet, Snowshoe is probably one of the only races where most of, not all of, but most of these XC1 Pro riders and even XC2 guys run larger tires than they ever do anywhere else. So it does take away a little bit from high-speed sections where they jump on these roads, or like the finish line chicanes where they got flat corners. But it's definitely a change-up, a mix-up, and possibly a strategy.
Well, after 4 laps, that is 2 laps on the east side, 2 laps on the west side. Adam McGill leads it by 2.3 seconds over Chris Borich now. Walker Fowler running in the number 3 spot. Jared McClure is 4th. Marty Christopherson now rounds out your top 5. How is this one all going to unfold? The rain's falling at Snowshoe. It's going to be a good one. Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
I love watching RacerTV, man. Ever since I was a kid in high school, I sit there and I would watch the RacerTV episodes back and forth from 2010 when Bill Balance and Taylor Kaiser was there all the way to now. And, man, I just live for it. It's a lot of fun seeing myself up there sometimes and seeing some good battles, watching Caleb Russell and Thad battle out in RacerTV. So, yeah, they're doing a good job. It's a great thing. Hi, I'm Bryson Neal, and you're watching GNCC Live on RacerTV.com.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best. The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line? Finding the perfect trail? Routing the perfect adventure? Or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Landon Wolf and Mikey Waynes as we come to you from Snowshoe Mountain Resort and the AMSOIL Snowshoe GNCC in beautiful West Virginia. And, of course, you're looking at a shot of the infamous Howard's Hole. It's our Monster Energy Mile here this week, and rightfully so. You can see the rain is peppering down there as well. And still a lot of fans down there, but it looks like they're starting to thin out now that rain's starting to fall.
Yeah, they're getting under a little bit of cover, and you can see there in the mud hole it's coming down pretty good, and we're looking out here in front of the booth, and it's coming down good, but you look over here over the next mountain over, and you got blue skies, so the rain could go away just as quick as it came, and like we were saying, I mean, we have this much rain anyway, and right now at this point, I'm sure these guys are, maybe enjoying a little cool shower.
Cool shower, that's right, man. The temperature has dropped too, and I think that might be something to point out, Landon. You know as well as I do. You're out there, you're racing, you're already wet and muddy. Then you get a cold rain come down like that. Is it refreshing at a point like this, or is it kind of maybe it takes your mind off it because you start getting cold, really?
At a point like this, it's definitely at many races it is refreshing, but these guys are probably already so wet from all the mud holes that they've been going through, they may not even notice that it's raining. The only issue at this point that they're probably dealing with the rain at is their goggles. The goggles are coming off, water gets in behind the tear-offs or the roll-offs. These rocks are getting slicker. Just a kind of a combination of everything. But the main thing is definitely going to be the goggles, keeping your eyeballs clean, being able to see where you're going.
Well, I'll tell you what, watching this Howard's Hole down here, you can see folks getting stuck in
and luckily for them, there's people to move them out of the way, and there's plenty of places for the other riders that come along that can get around them and traverse other parts of this particular section of the racetrack. But unfortunately, that's not the case in some of the other sections of this racetrack. And, you know, that's one thing that Chris Borch was talking about. And as this rain starts to come down, it starts making me think about it more and more and more, you know. Getting stuck, you know, that's the one thing that he says you got to keep that momentum moving forward, and that's exactly what I had a chance to talk with him about and what his idea of it was going to take to win this race today.
No, it's pretty typical snowshoe conditions. Seems like it's always raining here, and obviously all the rain goes down to the bottom, and we got that big mud hole down there. So, yeah, it's just one of these tracks. It's just forward drive, keeping momentum, and don't make any mistakes and survive.
And that is the key to that. Literally, that's the key today, especially whenever you start seeing the conditions the way they are right now.
Yeah, so not only, I mean, Chris made a good point there, just stay moving forward, because not only when you get stuck are you sitting still, you're losing time, but I would say the worst part of that is you get off the bike, you have to grab a hold of the rear bumper, grab a hold of the front bumper, and you have to move the bike. At that point, your hands are covered in this slime of mud. And then, you know, you get the bike free, you get back on the bike, you get all that all over your grips, and it's just a struggle from there all the way to the finish line.
Well, I'll tell you, watching these muddy races, one name that I am it seems weird not to be mentioning is that name of Johnny Gallagher. You know, he may not, for some reason he always comes alive in the mud, even though he's not a true mud specialist, but he always seems to come to life in the mud. And here today at Snowshoe Mountain, man, it is certainly missing him. And this is one of only 3 times since 1994 that he hasn't been on a racetrack. And if you remember last race, Landon, he had a pretty gnarly get-off.
Yep.
And unfortunately for him, not able to make it today, but we did get a chance to talk with him.
So 2 weeks ago at the Tomahawk, you know, a little bit dusty conditions, and I was probably pushing the pace where I shouldn't have been, had a mishap that set me back. Had a good start, was up there running good, felt great, speed was great, and was trying to get back to where I wanted to be, up in the top 5, and trying to make some passes late in the race, and charged a corner blind, ended up hitting the high end of a berm. It caught the right front air and pitched me. Would have been fine, but the bike followed me, chased me, and pile drove me into the ground. Broke my collarbone in 2 places, had a segmental separation. It was actually tenting, trying to come through the skin. So it was a pretty gnarly wreck, and got up. First thought was I need to get ready for Snowshoe. So went home, tried to get surgery right away. Unfortunately, just couldn't fit it in. Got surgery had surgery last Thursday, so we're 8 days out from surgery, and came here, everything prepped, ready to roll with the intentions of racing. Didn't get any seat time, but I got to be realistic with myself and the way our points work and the way this racing works. If I can't score a top 20 overall, then there's no point in me going out there putting myself, my equipment, and everybody through this. So I'm not strong enough yet, and unfortunately we're going to sit this one out today. So a little bit of a heartbreaker, but I did everything I could for the last 2 weeks to be ready, and just came up a little bit short. Everybody's been telling me that at 40 you don't heal as quick as you do at 20, and maybe that's part of it, or maybe I just had unrealistic expectations. But first time since 1999 that I won't line up in XC1 at a GNCC, so and only the second race that I've missed since I started racing GNCCs in 1994. So pretty good track record. Can't complain. Everybody talks about how it's a dangerous sport, but you know, if you use your head, you can go a long ways in between incidents.
2 races he's missed since 1994, and his first since he became an XC1 Pro in 1999. That's a pretty good run, man.
Incredible.
That is incredible. He deserves an award for that, I think.
I'm pretty young, and he's doing better than me already.
Amazing. But did you see, I mean, Johnny was in such physical condition. I mean, you see him shrugging his shoulders and moving his shoulders around. Heck, I hurt my shoulder over 3 years ago, and it wasn't until this weekend that I actually could put a speaker back on a tower out here. This man is a real a hero of mine. That's all I can say. He is a true machine. Johnny Gallagher, even thinking about going out there racing after a crash like that and surgery and everything.
Yeah, he's a machine. He's what he is. I mean, he's a true GNCC racer. He's a good person. He's a good person to be the face of GNCC to have around for so long.
He most certainly is a great ambassador to our sport, to say the least.
That's the word I was looking for there.
Right now, watching this one, an hour and 20 minutes, working on an hour and 21 minutes. Our leaders are now on the west side of the mountain.
East, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll go with that. All right, we'll pull that track map back up one more time real quick and point this out. And, of course, so we go over to the east. That's lap 1, lap 2 over on that side, lap 3, lap 4. So they're back over on the east side of the mountain.
Lap 5, east side of the mountain. I'd imagine they're maybe out around 7-8 mile marker. Should be, it's a long, they're actually down by another resort, and good bit of road riding there at the 10 mile marker, and then they're going to drop over that over-under bridge down into Howard's Hole again. And I'm anxious to see, maybe we could get Mikey eventually. I don't know that Cole's even back yet to figure out what happened to Cole Richardson in Howard's Hole. Did he hit a rock and break something in Howard's Hole, or did he just decide that Howard's Hole was the time to shut it down before he broke something even worse?
I don't know, but Mikey is, I'm sure, on that. It's been a lap since we seen him down here. It was a lap ago that he was down there. Well, I'll tell you, it's a long way away, and to have him already back to the pits would be pretty impressive, I have to think.
I don't know. This GNCC track crew, they really get after it. But, yeah, I mean.
They bring him up by the wagon load.
Well, that's what I've been watching. They're truck and trailer. They got 5 bikes on a trailer bringing them back to their motorhomes and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, the track crew is in full force today. I mean, I've talked to Bolton about the track today, and he said, man, this is just the toughest one for him to do because, 1, it's such a long track, and 2, it's such a grueling track. He's out there. Bolton's out there since 7:30 this morning biking this track and stuff, so we got
He's been out here since Tuesday biking this track.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and he'll be doing it probably till Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Now, you would think that somebody would have picked up that rock and moved it by now, or does it not move?
No, I wouldn't want to be the guy that has to pick that thing up.
No. That's a big old rock. That's a boulder.
Yeah, but
as
these,
Shrek would, or as Donkey would say on Shrek, bold. Now, you know Shrek, right?
Yeah, I have seen Shrek, yes. I ain't that young. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I do want to congratulate you on your win this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was a long-fought battle. Me and a friend of mine, Kevin Cunningham, had one heck of a battle, and actually right here in Howard's Hole is where I made the pass for the lead right before the finish line. So what a heck of a race. Track is awesome, brutal, tough, but as always a good track. And
I know we had some mix-up in the youth race this morning, too. I don't know, did Lane end up winning that this morning, or did we have a different winner this time? I understand
I know
that
Lane was winning, but honestly, I'd be lying if I told you I knew.
Well, maybe we'll look into the results here in just a few moments to find that one out for sure. But I'll tell you, Snowshoe always brings the surprises. And there's that sunshine that you were talking about a few moments ago, Landon. You were right. It was on its way. And look at that. Howard's Hole starting to see it brighten up down there as well.
Fans are coming back out. They're ready for the pro riders.
Shirts are coming off. Phones are back out. So, yep, they're ready to go. And I hope that's not poison ivy. Oh no, that's not. That's a check mark.
No. What a heck of a scene. I can, and I've been a part of this, so I know how it feels. But I tell you, to come down this rough, beaten path and got mud up your nose and your mouth, and you're just struggling. You just want to finish the race. To come down the hill into a section like this where you have this many fans cheering you on, just wanting to see you make it through flawlessly, and then. Just to be able to succeed through a section like this is definitely refreshing. I mean, we were talking about the rain being refreshing, but I would say getting through a crowd like this and a mud hole like this is the most refreshing thing these guys could have right now.
I imagine it would be rather inspirational, and especially from a standpoint of having that support of the crowd cheering you on as you go through and making it through what likely is one of the toughest parts of that racetrack out there. I was talking with a guy last night. He was saying,
GNCC seems to be lightening up a lot. You know, they don't have the types of things that they used to have back in the Blackwater and this and that, you know, and for good reason. I mean, it'd be nice to see things like this at every race, but, man, it'd be tough on equipment. I think our leaders are starting to make their way in. Folks are starting to point back that way. Get out of the way. Open it up, open it up. So we'll see what our leaders are going to do and who is our leader now.
I don't think that's a leader
there. That's not a leader there.
No. They should be through here shortly. I'd like to maybe eventually figure out how many laps this race is going to be. I know they're going to at least do another lap. Two-lap card is out, so they're going to finish. They're going to go through Howard's Hole here. They're going to head up the mountain to the finish line again. They're going to get the white flag. They're going to head over to the west side through Pro Pits, and then it's a drag race to the finish because I know that the end of that west side is some real fast fire roads and stuff. So.
And we see that there's passing opportunities out there. Jerry McClure made the pass on Chris Borch, obviously, and a few other things shaking up out there. So,
can Adam McGill hold on to it?
You know, something tells me he's quite possible. It's quite possible because he's already done it 4 times, and he had a good attitude coming into today's race. He always does, but something about being here in West Virginia at Snowshoe. It just seems like he feels unstoppable.
Yeah, well, and he may be. You know, we're starting to figure it out.
Funny thing, though, Walker Fowler and I were talking in the pre-race interviews today, and he says, you know, last year when I was here, I felt this mountain talking to me. You know, it talked to me, and he said, I don't know. He says, I haven't heard anything this year. Maybe it'll wait till I'm out there on the track, and then it'll start talking to me. So, you know, we haven't talked a lot about Walker, but let's not count Walker out yet.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know that we can hardly count out anybody at this point, or
even Marty Christopherson.
Exactly. I mean, these guys are Bryson Neal's there, Hunter Hart's there, Greg Covert, Merritt Feehan, Yoho. I mean, anybody still. I honest to God, I would say that anybody still has a shot at this win right now. I mean, Adam McGill's definitely in the driver's seat right now, but you know, sometimes that's not always the best seat to be in this late in the race with situations like this right here coming up.
Well, we're looking at our 7th place ride in the Vet B 30+ class. That's New York Napo. Dave Napo. Dave is out of Eden, New York, working on, wow, this is only his 2nd lap, so he's having a rough way of it. It looks like either that or his transponder didn't scan, because that would mean he's ran this side of the mountain twice.
Yeah, that's, I tell you, this place is rough on things. So now, right here, I'm just taking a peek at this. We've had 2 guys just drive into this same section. You never know what's under that water. You never know how deep those ruts are, and it makes it tough. But look, the guys out, the mud fleas out there are just, they are living up to their name. They're rolling around in it. I mean, they're going to have that in their hair for weeks.
Well, bound into the Pro Pits we are watching. I don't know what the action down here is, unless we're just watching some of the action come through right now.
Yep.
Should be seeing these pro riders come through Howard's Hole, the Monster Energy Mile, and this may be only, 100 yards, 150 yards long, but probably as long as any country mile or any monster mile you could go against.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's a good, I mean, this here is the toughest part of it, but I would say this Howard's Hole here. Oh, no.
Is that McGill?
That's McGill.
McGill, if you just heard it in our microphones, you might have heard one popping and cracking going down there. That looked like Adam McGill driving up the highway.
I could have sworn that was number 521 on the back. Mikey, can we get something on that? It is Adam McGill.
There he is, McGill. McGill will be coming into the pits here in just a second.
Yeah,
Mikey Waynes will be down there to give us a lowdown on
what a heartbreaker. There he is.
There he is. Man, McGill's mountain is not, it's not the mountain that's treating him bad. It's the weather that's come back to chomp the gator, it looks like today. Look at that. I think he may be over. He just turned it off.
Yeah, it sounded.
Did sound like he was going to be able to salvage that.
It's not an injector because he's got a car, but I don't know if he sucked water or it's a stator or. But man, what a heartbreaker for him, man. That's a tough loss.
It is. I don't know if he's gone back to the pits. Here's the one thing to point out. He's back to the pits. He's off the machine, but they're looking at this bike. I would almost have to think if they get this thing going, he's going to go back out because he's going to want to try to score valuable championship points.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like his main pit crew, his father, and those guys are not there. They're probably waiting over at the finish line of the east side for him. So if you guys can hear us, you might want to head back over to Pro Pits. But it doesn't look like they're working on it. It looks like Adam may know what the issue is and maybe realize it's not fixable.
What a heartbreaker for sure.
Wow.
And, man, I mean, he had this. This could have been the drive for 5 was certainly in line for that. So now where we are with a whole new scenario to take place here. Chris Borch, Walker Fowler, Jared McClure, Bryson Neal, or Marty Christopherson and Bryson Neal. Those now would be your top 5 riders as we roll through these closing and waning moments of this Snowshoe GNCC on the ATV side of things. Look at that machine. I mean, in reality,
it's crazy how clean it is. It's obviously just the rain coming up the road, but that's what we were saying earlier. It's not a real sticky mud. It's just a lot of water and kind of a slimy mud. It's not like big chunks of sticky mud. But look here, we got a rider stuck, and everybody's hurrying because I would imagine the pro riders. Oh wait. That's Chris. That's Chris Borch right there.
Yeah, it's a Chris Borch. He had second place, was right behind him. I don't know if I think that was Walker Fowler. We saw him choose an alternate line, so he went out a little differently
there. I think that might have been Jared McClure right there in front of him as he pulled away. I'm not positive on that, but it sure did look like it. Who do we have here? We definitely have a pro rider. That is Walker Fowler. So I'm not sure if that was Jared McClure or not. It could have been. But if it's not, Chris Borch is out in the lead.
Wow, if Chris Borch goes head-to-head with these guys today and wins here at Snowshoe Mountain GNCC, can you imagine the bit of confidence, the boost of confidence he's going to have? Because though it's been so long, but to win in these types of conditions. A real man's GNCC today here at Snowshoe.
Look at this. This guy's got his umbrella out. Just it's not raining, but he's kind of get protected. But there is Marty Christopherson and Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal. I'm gonna take a shot at it and say that was Jared McClure in the lead, which would put Bryson in the number 3 spot and Marty Christopherson still in the number 4 spot. So another rider we did not see unless we missed him, Hunter Hart.
Yep. So and there were several riders that went through there real quick, so we might have missed a few of these riders. So we're going to wait and see. But wow, man, Walker not having the day that he was hoping for and wanted, but at the same time, I'm not too surprised with that because he has in his mind coming into this one that this was going to be a challenging race day and to salvage whatever he could out of this day, and that was finish as close to the podium or the win as possible. If it wasn't a win, get as many points as you can.
So we're gonna jump down to Mikey Wayne's in the pits, maybe get a word with Adam McGill.
Hey guys, down here in the McGill pits, word is he got some water sucked up into the filter. That's going to do it for him today. He's not here in the pits with us right now. Went back to the trailer, visibly very, very frustrated, and rightfully so. I mean, that's just not the way he wanted this day to end.
Well, heartbreaker there for Adam McGill, and rightfully so, Mike. You're right. Very upset about that because he had number 5 in hand here in West Virginia, and the mountain was being good to him, that's for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we can get a shot down here at the finish line. We should be expecting them through anytime soon for their 5th lap. We do know that Adam McGill will not be in the lead anymore, which what a bummer. But I'm gonna take a shot. Say we're gonna have Jared McClure from the number 4 spot up into the number 1 spot. If not, it's gonna be Chris Borch. So, but another lap of racing, another 15-20 minutes on the other side of the mountain, and anything could happen.
Everybody out and getting into the action today, it looks like, as they wait for more to check in. By the way, folks, just want to remind you, coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, we've got the Fantic bicycle race, the electric mountain bike race that was scheduled for last night is now rescheduled for tonight. So if you're here and you want to sign up for that, head on over to rider registration. We'll be getting that underway again here about 6 o'clock. We'll be starting on the streets just like we do any other GNCC here at Snowshoe. At the finish line, and this will be a white flag lap, I believe. Chris Borch in command and control for the first time in a long, long time as we roll through here. Borch physically out front after lap number 5, a lap time of 25:15, faster than the first lap under the most adverse conditions. He's already, man, Chris Borch is starting to wick it up. This might be the time that we talk about the Borch as he has gotten around and out. Jared McClure is second 13 seconds back
Wow.
physically. Walker Fowler in third, another 4 seconds back, and Chris Borich could be on his way to ending the losing streak and getting back on that winning streak. The winningest GNCC racer of all times, friends, could be doing it right here at America's new toughest race, the Snowshoe GNCC.
Wow, I am getting amped for this one. I mean, what a race we've had here at Snowshoe. Normally we don't have such close racing here, but Chris Borch out in the lead. Not only just the lead, but a 13-second lead, and that might not seem like much, but it is. That's a good it's a good lead, and
especially this late in the race, you've seen all the time adjustments that
he
have
just
been
has
made.
to hold it together.
It's a matter of holding it together and pushing forward. 47 races it has been since the last time he took a checker flag in winning the overall, I believe, at the Ironman GNCC in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. It has been that long, my friends. Add them up. That's 37 races, I believe, or 47 races. This would have been race number 48, but at 48, he may be looking at taking that win. Wow, folks, we are less than 30 minutes out from a win here for possibility of Chris Borich. Again, we are on, this would be the west side of the mountain now, I guess. This is the short side of the mountain. This could play in his favor, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of changes taking place on the western side of the mountain as well.
Another one, we saw them come through Howard's Hole. Bryson Neal in the number 4 spot, Marty Christopherson in the number 5 spot. It has now changed again. Marty Christopherson back up into that 4th place overall spot. Bryson Neal holding down number 5. Adam McGill dropping slowly back in those points. Bummer for him, but wow. What a last lap we're going to have here. Chris Borch, Jared McClure, and Walker Fowler.
Look at the winds blowing. You can see the clouds blowing by. The rains have blown through. The sun has came out. The clouds are back. I mean, the only thing we haven't seen today, and don't be surprised if we don't, is actual snow flurries or something crazy like that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because weather has certainly treated us with a lot of different variety here today, and GNCC has given us everything that we bargained for when we come here to Snowshoe Mountain. The toughest of the tough out there battling it out right now. Every one of these guys grueling through each and every one of these laps. Chris Borch, Jared McClure, Walker Fowler, Marty Christopherson, Bryson Neal, your top 5.
So I'm definitely, one thing that's really surprising me here, which I never would have guessed for a place like Snowshoe, we have but now 8 people through on their 5th lap, and they are all within a minute and a half, or no, within 2 minutes.
Wow,
Close to it anyway.
Under these conditions, especially, that's pretty impressive. You got to certainly think about that. And also, one other thing we want to point out: we do have finally a Junior A class rider, someone other than an XC1 or XC2 rider, breaking the top 20. Jordan Poplaski out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. Your Junior A 22 plus class leader is 19th place overall right now.
Yeah, what a ride for him, coming right there from where Chris Borch is from. So 2 wins for those 2 guys. Man, would that be a day. I want to take a peek here at the Vet A class just to see how things. We got Big Papa P back in the lead in the Vet A class.
Oh, Jeffrey Pickens back in the front of this one. What happened to Corey Blinkowicz? He's dropped all the way back to the number 5 spot now, it looks like.
Corbin Knox in the number 3 spot. AJ Coons, Tom Coons, number 2 spot. 45 seconds down. They're still out there on their 4th lap, so I'm sure. Now, one thing to take note is when the checkered flag is thrown for Chris or Jared or Walker or whoever it is that comes through, checkered flags come out on both sides of the lap. Even if you're still on the east side, and if they finish on the west side, checkered flag comes out, race is over.
Yep. So racing to checkers right now, Pickens and Kuntz. Corbin Knox, I want to point out, who was in the lead, now 2 minutes and 32 seconds back in 3rd. So something happened to him. He might have been victim of.
Wow.
Might have been victim of one of these mud holes. Just got the report there. Borch is gapping. This is the Borch. This is the classic Chris Borch.
Borch is leaving him, man. Come on, buddy.
This is what we've been waiting on for a while. And I'll tell you, this is taking this down. I hope he can take it to the checkers, but we know that he knows he's been in this position the last few races. He knows that he can win. It's not a matter of if he can win anymore. It's a matter of when he's going to get back into the winning way.
And this will be something good for him to go take into this summer break. To get the win, round 9, 2 months or better, to think about that and to build on that. And for everybody else to think about it, and especially Walker Fowler, who was his biggest nemesis and who was his biggest nemesis for a long time. Will he start thinking, is Chris coming back? Am I going to have to start worrying about this thorn in the side? And this is going to set up a great last and final 4 rounds of 2018. And, folks, I'm telling you, sitting on the edge of your seat, probably and likely you should be if you aren't.
Yeah, another question I just thought about. Has Chris ever won Snowshoe, even when he was winning his championships?
It seems like somebody else besides myself.
I know Brian Wolf was winning a bunch of them back then. Adam was obviously winning them back then. I don't know. I'd like to maybe find out if Chris has ever won this race before. I know he's won too many to count almost, but I'm not sure about Snowshoe. So could this be his first win back in 47 races now? And could it also be his first Snowshoe win? Not real sure on that just yet, so don't hold me to it.
We'll get the statisticians looking at that real quick. But something's telling me that he does have 1 overall for some reason. But I've been known to be wrong on more than one occasion and more than one time today already.
Oh man, gosh, I'm anxious. I can't even sit down anymore.
I know. It gets to the point right now where you become a fan, and it's the waiting game, and all these scenarios and things are running through our minds. But I just can't quit focusing on what happens if Chris Forge does win this race. I mean, it is going to change the face of GNCC, I think, in the future, the near future anyway.
It definitely could. It could throw a whole new spin on things and, give Chris a whole new outlook on this this fall season in the 2018 racing season. And it could also give everyone else, something to think about over summer break, just like you were saying. But like you said, you do turn into a little bit of a fan. I mean, we're sitting in this booth here talking about everybody, but I'd be pumped to see anybody win. But
you're right, me too.
Man,
but
it would be
something
cool.
special. I'm not going to lie, it's something special to see Chris win again because, 1, he is the winningest GNCC racer of all time, and 2, it's been such a long time since he has won, so it will be exciting to see him get back into his winning ways if he's able to pull this one off.
Yeah, so I just got a text from one of Chris's good buddies, Daryl. Says he does believe Chris has won a race before, so I may have been wrong on that one. But
that's what I'm thinking. I can't remember exactly what year, but it does seem like he does have 1 overall here for some point. But we're looking and working on win 74 of them all, my friends, and adding another one onto that and putting that one step further away from anyone else and trying to achieve or match that goal, whether it be Walker Fowler, Hunter Hart, or whoever it is that's going to try to best that record. He won in 2010, so that's it. We knew that he took the overall at one point, so 2010, 8 years. I guess it's been a while. I mean, we're all getting a little up there, except for you there.
I don't know. I just turned 24 now. I feel old.
So, well, we do know that Chris Borch has won here. This could be his second win, and this could be his first win in 47 races, in 48 races actually. This is the 48th race that he has raced since that win in 2014 at Ironman GNCC.
Not the leaders just yet.
Not the leaders just yet, but that, man, what a massive hill climb. And looking at this again, I think you can kind of put it into perspective at this point, what kind of a hill climb this is right now. There is your leader right there,
Chris Borch. There's the leaders right there, Chris Borch. Does he have someone?
He's got someone behind him.
That's Jared McClure.
McClure is
Jared
right
McClure
there.
hot on his heels. So we only have a little bit of track left to go. It is a lot of fast stuff. I don't believe there's anything gnarly out there. Chris Borch still hanging on to it. Other PA native right there behind him. There goes Walker Fowler up the hill climb as well.
Snake is about to rear his ugly head here in the closing moments of this one, my friends. I tell you, if you're a GNCC fan and you follow this at all, you know the style of Chris Borch. You know the style of Jared McClure. You know that this is going to be a dog-eat-dog battle right down to the checker flag between these two Pennsylvania natives, Chris Borch and Jared McClure. And don't count out Walker Fowler just yet either, the number one. And the Ohio native himself is still within striking distance of this whole situation. He was only 4 seconds behind McClure, and we got reports that Borch was stretching things out a moment ago.
Apparently not. You know, that could be the whole play of the lappers. Here they are. They're going to, or not just yet, but they're going to be pulling into pro row here. They should, I'm sure everybody's going to blow right by their pits. Chris Borch still out in the lead. Jared McClure, what, half a bike bike and a half behind him.
Something really close.
Oh, this could come down to the finish line.
There's Chris Borch's mom. Did you see the smile on her face as she went trotting by? There goes third place. That is Walker Fowler. He's about 8 seconds back now as he's trying to close that gap on these front two runners now as they race hard and heavy to the finish line. And folks, down near the finish line, get ready for a spectacular finish as Chris Borch and Jared McClure are coming in nose to tail, and they're coming in hot, my friends. It is going to be fireworks at the finish line here at Snowshoe.
Oh boy, man, my heart's beating out of my chest. This is killing me. They should be coming down this hill here any second now. This guy's got his camera turned around, so he must be expecting them as well. Should still be Chris Borch out in the lead, and it is Chris Borch. There he is, number 4.
Is that Chris? Yep,
that's sure Chris. Is. Jared McClure right behind him. And like I say, I believe it is all fast roads from here to the finish. So it is going to be tough to make a pass here. But
Jared is going to be there, and he's going to try. If anybody's going to be able to get around him at this point, it will be McClure.
It would be Jared.
It is. I mean,
there's the number 3 rider as of right now, Walker Fowler. I would imagine at this point, like I say, with these fast roads and stuff, he's probably out of the running for the win at this point, but anything's possible.
Anything is possible, my friends, and we still wait with bated breath. They're back onto these roads, and they're heading on out. They're heading right that way. I'm going to say within 2 minutes or so, we should probably be seeing them nearing that finish line region. And, again, this final lap is still not over. Jared McClure, we've seen him do it. They call him the sneaky snake for a reason. Chris Borch, we named the patented Borch move after him on the last lap. So both these guys have things up their sleeve. Who's got the most up their sleeve right here? Who wants this one the most right now? And that is a good question. I know Jared McClure wants to get back into his winning ways, but you know, I almost have to think that Chris Borch may want it a little bit more. He has to want it more, being the winningest GNCC racer of all time.
Yeah, I would say at this point, Chris Borch is going to do anything he has to, anything and everything he has to keep Jared McClure from slipping by. And at the same time, Jared McClure, you know, he's gotten a win this year, but that's not enough for him. He wants more. So, man, we got quite the battle. They should be coming into this finish line area any second now. For the Battle of Pennsylvania.
The Battle of Pennsylvania in West Virginia.
In West Virginia.
Walker Fowler again in third, Marty Christopherson fourth, Bryson Neal in fifth, Josh Merritt sixth, Greg Covert seventh, Hunter Hart back to eighth now, Devin Fehan in ninth, and Kevin Yoho rounding out the top 10. And that's the way things are looking. And remarkably, there's only one XC2 rider in the top 10 right now, and he is the only one that started in the top 20 overall up there in that top, or at least the top 10 overall in the top 20 overall. So interesting to think that basically we've got a lot of the same folks in the top 10 that we had at the beginning of the race, and we've lost a few, but at the same time the majority has remained right where they knew they needed to be. Again, here we are at these.
So here we have the camera coming out. This is not the leaders here. This should be.
Man, what a
saw some people running here. They are.
Yeah.
Yep. Chris Borch still out in the lead.
Chris Borch in the lead, folks, as he winds his way around here in the mountains of Snowshoe, West Virginia, heading toward the finish line, and win number 74. Another historic win for Chris Borch as he does it. It's been 47 races since he has won a race, and finally Chris Borch tackles the mountains here in West Virginia for his second time, and the first time since 2010. What a day, my friends. Unless somebody sneaks in on this one in time adjustment, this one is over, and Chris Borch has win number 74 to post in the history books.
Wow. What a race we had there. I mean, Chris Borch back on top. I saw him sitting there. It looked like he was just holding her on the rev limiter, enjoying that little bit of happiness that he probably remembers so well. And, man, could this be the start of something big?
I don't know, folks. I have to tend to think it's been leaning towards that. Chris has been working closer and closer to this moment, and here he is at the biggest race of 2018. All eyes from across the world on the world's toughest race, America's toughest race anyway, and they're watching and waiting to see, and Chris Borch has done it, my friends. Chris Borch has won Snowshoe.
Now Jared McClure in second. Walker Fowler has checked in another 15 seconds back in the number 3 spot. So that will be your podium. Borge, McClure, and Fowler. Fowler was able to salvage some pretty good championship points. So Bryson Neal not really inching so closely up there on him as we've seen. And that was one thing that he was worried about. But look at that. Bryson Neal is back in the number 5 spot. But he may, if he can get back around, Marty Christopherson steal the 4th place position away. So we're waiting on that one. That's kind of critical if you're watching the championship points as well.
There goes Bryson Neal across the finish line. Did he get around Marty or not? No. Marty Christopherson with the, as far as I know, best overall finish of all time, number 4. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't.
Gosh, there's Marty right there. So he's still a 5th place overall. I mean, what a heck of a ride.
Is that not his best finish?
I'm sure. I think 5th still is.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought he'd gotten as far as 6th and never had broken the top 5 unless it's been the last couple of races. But congratulations to Marty Christopherson, the Richford Rocket. That's got to be a big confidence boost for him. And we've seen a lot of those. I mean, we're seeing a lot of things as we head into the final stages of this 2018 season. And the progression that we're seeing out of some of these riders could really throw some wrenches into the cogs of the wheels over there for some of those guys in that in their battles in the final 4 rounds. This could get interesting is what I'm trying to say.
It's crazy to think we came off of an almost undefeated year last year. There we have Josh Merritt coming into the finish line just now, but last year we had an almost undefeated year. How many winners have we had this year? We've had Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, Chris Borch now, and Jared McClure. So at least 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
trying
I think
to
that's it. But 5 winners, 9 races. What a mix-up.
That's the top 20 overall. That's 2017. I got notes for 2017 right there. But anyway, yeah, you're right. I think you're absolutely correct. I think it is 5 different racers. And, you know, even Walker Fowler had talked about that this morning. He had talked about the fact that there were 5 different individuals that had won so far this year, as you pointed out. Bryson Neal taking one, Jared McClure taking a win, Adam McGill taking a win, and now Chris Borge along with Walker Fowler. That's 5. But looking at the points, Walker Fowler still having a 35-point lead as he headed into this this round of racing. And 35 points, though it may not be the championship yet, it is certainly one step closer. And Walker don't want to lose any more points than necessary. And today actually didn't lose any points on his closest competitor, Bryson Neal.
Yeah, so I would imagine at this point, just briefly looking at the points here, it looks like Jared McClure may jump up into the number 2 spot. Chris Borch, he'd probably stay in the number 4 spot for now, but Walker Fowler still got a pretty decent gap there in the overall point standings.
Yeah, you're right.
Still 4 races to go.
Yeah, that should, like you said, that should put McClure into the 2nd place in position in points to head into the summer break. That'll give Bryson Neal a whole lot to think about, and I think a bad taste in his mouth as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jared McClure's been having one heck of a season, but I think it's awesome that we have there goes Bryson Neal down the road right now. But
did Josh Merritt just check in 6th place overall for the day?
He did.
Now there's another Cinderella story that may be starting to be told as well. He's starting to see some progressively better and better finishes also.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said just a little bit ago, we have a lot of riders that are jumping into not only top 10 but even top 5s here and there, and definitely just cool to see. We have a lot of mix-ups in XC1 Pro this year, and I think it's awesome to see that, and awesome to see 9 races, 5 winners. I think that's great.
Absolutely. As we're celebrating down there, look at that. Look at that smile. Chris Borch hasn't even wiped the mud off his face right yet. He don't care. He's still got
leave it on there for a week.
Jared McClure right there with him, 1st and 2nd place. You know, that's such a good thing to see. I mean, I've seen some smiles on Chris Borch's face recently, but none like this right here.
Yeah, I mean, he's been waiting a long time for this, and like I say, I mean, I'm sure he remembers how it feels, but it's good to be back.
You know, he's got 6 championships. He's got now win number 74, the most wins of any GNCC racer of all times. When we come back in the fall, he will also have a new baby that had just been introduced to the world, or just about here. It'll be close.
Yeah.
And he will have 4 more rounds to look at this. This could quite possibly be one of the best summers of Chris Borch's life.
Yeah, it sure could. I mean, I'm sure he's stoked about this. I'm sure his pit crew, his wife, his parents. I mean, I couldn't be any more happy for him. So
and
I can only imagine how they feel.
Are going nuts right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I can't wait. Maybe we'll see in the fall the big Chris Borch heads back in the forest again and stuff like we used to.
There's
that's not a good sign. Walker Fowler must have gotten some mud in the eye out there, and that's the rain and the mud. You talked about that with the rain coming down, and the mud holes in the water and stuff out there. That was one of the things that was possible and possibly likely when you're racing these races like this. Look at that. Blue skies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just looked up again. It's beautiful blue skies.
It goes from rain to blue sky in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
I think we've had 3 sessions of blue sky and 2 sessions of rain just in this race.
Yeah, so wonder what tomorrow will bring. I don't know.
Time will tell.
I tell you, if you are interested in watching some good stuff, tomorrow will be a good one as well. I can't believe that this all ended up the way that it did. You come into these days and you have these preconceived notions, this could happen, that could happen, the hype. And I have been hyping up quite a bit about Chris Borch lately, but I have felt this moment coming. I knew it was coming, and it was coming soon. Didn't know exactly when it would happen, but I don't think it could have come at a better time than it did now. If he would have had the summer to think about this, it might have been harder for him to get that momentum back up, but he's going to have plenty of inspiration now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I've been saying here in the past, Chris Borch has been working so hard on his fitness, on his riding, on his training, on everything. And
he's actually the second oldest rider on the starting line, is he not? Besides Johnny Gallagher.
Well, today he was the oldest.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Today he was the oldest. Yeah. So how about that? The youngins took a whooping. So now cool to see that happen. But like you said, man, what kind of motivation or confidence or whatever you want to call it does this give Chris Borch going into summer break?
I think you picked out 2 good: motivation and confidence.
Yeah.
It's giving him the confidence and the to be motivated, and I think it's going to pay hugely. I mean, I talk about this change. People didn't understand what I was talking about leading into this season, but I kept talking about change. What is that change? I don't know, but here we got 5 different winners in 2018 already. That's a big part of change right now as well.
Okay, am I missing something here, or did John Glotta win the XC2 class?
Boy, John Glotta must have. Let's go back over there. I think he may have gotten around. What happened to Hunter Hart? Did he fall victim?
There's Hunter Hart standing right there. But
did he fall victim to something as well? It's like Adam McGill, possibly something.
Yep.
John Glotta, Austin Abney. Hunter Hart hasn't even checked in with a 3rd lap, according to Tommy
So he must have just did the 5th lap. Maybe he got hung up down there in Howard's Hole, and John Glotta was able to get around the next lap around, and John Glotta, followed by Austin Abney, 1 and 2 in XC2.
Wow, that's John Glotta's 2nd win of 2018 as well.
Rookie season in XC2 as well.
Man, that's pretty impressive stuff. His dad, John Glotta Sr., I think he's got a little brother that races in the youth races as well.
He's got 2 little brothers that race in the youth race.
Man, it's a wow, that's a four-wheeler racing family right there.
Yeah, it sure is. 4 of them. They got John Sr., John Jr., James Glotta, and Landon Glotta.
Ah, yes, Landon. I forgot about the youngster. Yes.
Yep.
He's a newbie.
Yeah, he sure is. He cracks me up. He was out here. You couldn't hardly see your handlebars. It was so foggy out here. But I went up to give him a little knuckle tap for good luck, and his mother told me he's still asleep. He's still tired. So cool to see John Glotta get his 2nd win.
Yeah, 2nd win. Yep.
So
we're still waiting on 3rd place unless it finishes like that. Hunter Hart might be the winner with that. I mean, 3rd place.
I would have to imagine because Hunter Hart is sitting there. So the 3rd place through the rest of the pack must not have quite made it to that 6th lap.
Ah, good point. Good point. Again, remember, when the checker flag comes out on one side of the mountain, it comes out on both sides of the mountain, like Landon pointed out a few moments ago. So that's why it is the way that is. So that makes a lot of sense. And that could mean that Hunter Hart still is the 3rd place position finish. We'll wait for a few minutes to find that out for sure. But how about it for John Glotta? How about it for Chris Borch? I mean, Chris, again, I can't say it enough. Excited for him. Excited for Jared McClure. Excited for Walker because, I know Walker
thrives on competition. You know, he looks to better himself all the time. Now he has benchmarks to work against. With people getting better, he's got things that he knows that he has to work on. So it's good for Walker as well. So it's good for the sport, period.
Absolutely. What a day of racing we have here. What a day for racing. What a day for spectators. What a day for the people out here supporting all of this. And just what a great day for GNCC racing.
What a great day for mud fleas, man.
Yeah, right. I see them all. They're obviously all just getting up from Howard, from Howard's Hole now, and they're walking by. They're covered in mud. I couldn't be more happy about it either.
That's for sure. Well, I wonder where Mikey is right now. I'm sure he's trying to get everybody nailed down there. I see Mikey down there. Where's Chris Borch?
There's Chris Borch standing there on the...
Yeah, and there's Mikey right beside him, I guess. So we're getting ready.
Mikey looks like he's talking to Hunter Hart.
Yeah,
Come on, let's get an interview, Mikey. Let's hear what the old boy
has to say. We
want to
know what Chris Borch has to say. That's what we want to know. What's Chris Borch have to say after this day? Yeah. Win number 74. Wow.
Congrats.
Man, that is just nuts.
What a career. Not only what a day, but what a career for Chris Borch.
Yes, yes, indeed. And I don't think it's done there. Yeah, I really don't think it's done there.
Yeah. A continuing career.
A continuing career.
Yeah. What just super cool to see that happen, and can't wait to hear what he has to say about all this and how it all unfolded.
Win number 74 counting. It's probably what he's saying.
Yeah. He's probably thinking in his head already, well, 74 now, possible to have 78 by the end of the season.
I'm sure he's thinking it. I mean, if he hasn't, he will.
Yeah.
Walker Fowler, look at that, still rubbing the eyes out down there right now. As looks like we are getting closer to speaking with Chris Borch and finding out his side of the story and how crazy it got there. I mean, the changes that we saw going on, and man, what a heartbreaker for Adam McGill, though. I mean, we got to go back there and bump back into that story for just a moment. The drive for 5, he looked like he had himself in a great position to do that with that time adjustments and everything. And I mean, just big things going on here today with that, with Chris Borch basically leading the majority of the race today, physically out there on the racetrack. Only for a brief few moments, Jarrett McClure was leading that race physically out there. So this was Chris Borch's day. When you look at the big picture, this was a Chris Borch day on Snowshoe Mountain.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we might be heading down now to get a word with the winner of today's XC1 Pro Class, Chris Borch.
Yep, that's right. Mikey, take it away, buddy.
Well, thanks, guys. We finally got our life together. Chris, number 74.
Yeah. About time. It's been a long time. We had some setbacks before. We tried a different thing, didn't work, and just trying to get everything rolling. And past couple races, we started working hard, figuring things out, bike setup, and here we are.
Man, I got to ask you, and I'm going to tease you a little bit because I asked you, I said, that was number 74, right? And this to me just speaks to the kind of the heart of a champion that you are. You're like, I don't know, you guys know more about that stuff than I do, man. So where does this one stack up, though? I mean, can you kind of put it in perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. It's been a long time coming, like you said. I've won a lot, but lately we had a dry spell. Now we got to get some more. So that's the plan. But tell you what, my Maxxis tires, they worked off there. I got to give it up to those. I ran the 23s with the 22s. Great choice. And yeah, got us up here to the front, and it was a hard day. I mean, this is a survival track, picking smart lines, and just keeping it pinned.
Congratulations, Chris, man. Enjoy it. Are you looking forward to the celebration or the snowboard more?
Snowboard. I said, I told my wife and my mom and dad, I said I want that trophy. I've never won here. I've won here, but I've never won the overall. So that snowboard's going to look sweet in my collection.
There you go. Hard to believe. His first overall win at Snowshoe, Chris Borch.
Well, all righty. Chris recollecting no wins. I'm recollecting that he did. But then again, we're going to get to the bottom of that, Landon.
So I'm thinking maybe after what he just said, he may have won the year in XC1 when Brian Wolf won the overall from the XC2 class.
Whenever they said 2010, that's whenever I started thinking.
Right.
I didn't want to second guess myself, but I did start second guessing myself a little bit. But regardless, it's a big day, a huge day.
Either way, whether it's the first win or the 10th win or the 74th win.
biggest win of Chris Borch's career at this point, I have to think. I mean, you look at all the championships, you look at everything he's done. When you go this long after being such a winning rider, this has to feel really, really good when you stack it up against all the other wins.
Yeah,
maybe,
it has to.
I mean, maybe even better than the first. Maybe, I don't know. The first win was probably pretty good.
Yeah, it probably was back in the day. But
okay, I'm going to retract that statement.
Yeah, here we got Mikey Wayne's down with Jared McClure, second place finisher.
Thanks, guys. Well, Snake Jared McClure, man, a second place finish in a race that is just purely about survival.
Yeah, it got when it started raining there, it got pretty crazy. Like the last lap on this side, and then the other. I mean, this side with Howard's Hole was just unreal. You know, there was 2 or 3 mud holes there that every lap I went from first to fifth once, then fourth back to the lead. You know, like it was just, I didn't know who was in front of me, who was behind me. You're just trying to keep moving. That's all you can do here. Just keep moving forward, try not to get stuck. Overall, I had a pretty good day. I screwed up, like I said, second lap, and I ended up going from the lead back to fifth. So, you know, but everybody had their issues, so slowly, one by one, you know, you start getting guys back. And it was just nice to be with that lead group all day.
Well, man, big congratulations to you. Celebration's on tonight, right?
Yeah, we'll probably have a little fun. It was pretty cool, exciting to see Chris get a win there. You know, I train with Chris sometimes back home, and you know, last lap I had no goggles. I was right behind him, and you know, it's hard to stay close enough to do anything with no goggles on. But I tried, and you know, I'm gonna pay for it because my eyes are killing me.
Well, go get those eyes cleaned up, man. That is your second place finisher here today, Jared McClure.
It was just a matter of where your issue happened to arise. I don't know. Did Chris Borch have an issue, really? I don't know.
I would imagine at some point in time, every rider out on that track today had a little bit of an issue. But Chris Borch may have just had less issues than anybody else. But Jared McClure, number 2 spot, what a humble rider he is. Pumped for his buddy Chris to get a win. And, man, just a day of racing.
It is, yeah. And it's hard to put it in many more words and explicitives than that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm left kind of speechless by it because I'm just that excited about what has taken place. On so many different levels. Like I say, this is good for the championship. This is so good for the championship. It's so good for Chris Borch fans. It's good for the sport. It's good for every angle of it right now. It's good for Walker Fowler too, because Walker needs these types of incentives to keep him on his edge.
Yep.
And I tell you, this is certainly firing him up for a really, really mean off-season training. And these next couple of months, I have to think that Walker's going to be training pretty doggone hard for those final 4 rounds.
I would say you're definitely right about that. And, you know, obviously Walker's a winner. Walker knows he's a winner. Walker likes to win. But, you know, you gotta take a loss here and there to keep yourself motivated, keep yourself pushing forward. And, you know, let's hear what he has to say down there right now.
Thanks, guys. Down here with Walker Fowler. Walker, we know not the finish you're looking for out there. Well, you know what? I take that back. A podium finish is something to be proud of at Snowshoe.
100%. I thought I was running around in second the whole second half of the race. I thought Chris just was out there, but I talked to Jared. There was, man, the mud holes get to be literally probably a half a mile wide sometimes, so he had a better line through one of them, and my crew didn't tell me that I was actually in third, which I guess they were probably just happy that I was running in a podium position and just didn't want me to get worked up about trying to catch up to anybody and just take the points we could get. You know, that was our game plan coming in, to get as many championship points as possible. So, yeah, third place, and, you know, being ahead of Neil was important. Lost a little bit of points to McClure, and, you know, Borich having a bad race earlier in the year. It's not a big deal that he won, but it's a big deal for him. I'm proud of him. Congrats, Chris Borich. Man, the dry spell's over, so I guess he's just going to have to wait another 4 years to win another one.
Well, I'm telling you, man, he's got a taste for it now. I asked him, I said, what do you think? He's like, well, now I need to get more. What do you got to say to that?
Yeah, you know, this place is just so ridiculous, and it's fun. It's definitely fun to win, so I'm sure he's excited, but this is a race where experience, it plays huge dividends, and, you know, myself being, I believe this is my 7th year in pro class, this being his like 20th year in pro class, and you know, McClure's even been in longer than me. So, and Adam obviously was running up front. early too, until he had bike issues. So I think experience really showed its face today, and he made the right call in the big tires. We chose to run standard size tires today, and they worked awesome, but I think I would have been a little bit better with the big guys. But hey man, third place, we'll take it. Hats off to all our awesome sponsors, the whole WFR, GBC, Fly Racing, Yamaha crew, and all our other great sponsors. You know, awesome to just get a podium, get out of here, get to summer break. We're healthy. It could be worse.
That's absolutely right. Walker Fowler right there, your third place finisher today.
For the race, that was the game plan, to salvage and do exactly what he could do out there today. He knew and knows the unknown variables here at Snowshoe. He knew with the conditions coming into this that it was going to be a very difficult climb to get on any step of the podium. So he makes it to the third step of that podium, and wow, what a great place to be here at Snowshoe today. So again, Borich, McCord, and Fowler, Bryce and Neal in that fourth place position. Here's something to point out, a 1:23 gap opening up between third and fourth there in the closing moments. And Marty Christopherson, congratulations to him for another top 5 finish there, only 15 seconds behind Bryce and Neal. A great day today, no doubt about it, Landon.
Yeah, what a great day of racing, and look forward to some more good racing tomorrow, right?
That's it. It's coming up all. We're going to do it again tomorrow about 1 o'clock. The two-wheel action is going to be going at it. Can Thad Duvall win here in his home state? Will Caleb Russell put the stops and the brakes on that? You're going to have to wait around and find out for yourself. It all comes your way on RacerTV.com tomorrow. Until then, on behalf of all of us here at Racer TV, Landon Wolf and Mikey Waynes, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.